show themed.
Oh, yeah? Don't give out too much ideas.
No, but how could I concoct a
something with a
slump busting queen costume?
I don't even know what.
We might have to censor you on the stream. Might have to blur you out.
I'm not gonna act like.
Yeah, no. It's like, what do you?
I'm not gonna mime it.
Oh, well, I would hope not.
I feel like you should just like whoever has. I know it's weird because we're in the baseball playoffs. By that time, we've been in the World Series. But I almost feel like whoever has the worst slump in Major League Baseball, you should just be them for Halloween. And you say, this person, I'm the slump buster. I'm the guy. I'm the next one that's gonna make a play here. So I don't know if that's Trent Grisham. I don't know if that's Mookie Betts. Like, who knows who that will be? But if you just get their jersey and say this person is on a 2 for 30 streak here in the postseason, and or even if they actually get out of it, like maybe it's someone who actually does come through in a big spot after. You could say the slump has been busted. I am the slump buster.
Right. My only concern with that is making it so topical. It would be hard to get a costume for it. Right. Like, so what if I get like a brown wig that mimics Maggie's hair? Mm-hmm. I get some big clown shoes, a Bills t-shirt, and then I like carry around like a big like watering plant to end the drought by watering things.
That would work.
What are you going to water here?
I'm not going to actually dump water somewhere on here, but if I just have the can, you can let your mind wander.
I know we're trying to get the stream back, but we have fake plants back here.
That's true. Sometimes they stay here. We had real plants that stay here past their life.
Oh, yeah.
And became fire issues.
Yeah, poinsettias that were put in December that are still here in March Madness.
Not supposed to happen.
That's not how this is supposed to go. I think you could work around that.
There's something there. Manny looks confused.
So back to the Yankees.
Yeah, back to the Yankees. They're still alive. So the one good thing about the Yankees still being alive and that the Guardians and the Padres are still alive is that we have, at least for this year, snapped. We had, what did I say yesterday? We had 10 of 12 wild card series had been sweeps.
Yeah.
So now we only got one in this round with the Dodgers closing out the Reds last night. So we got 3 game threes today. That's a pretty fun game of baseball. And you can only hope that the Red Sox don't mess this one up, because they messed up last night to a certain extent. Definitely. And I think that they managed what was kind of in my mind, that whoever won last night was going to win the series. Obviously, the Red Sox would have won the series had they won last night, but letting the Yankees off the hook going into a game 3 that begins with a fairly decided pitching advantage for the Yankees from their starting perspective, because Cam Schlittler has been tremendous for them this year.
Awesome.
And I believe it's Connolly early who's pitching for the Red Sox tonight, and he's basically brand new.
Yeah, I believe
4 starts.
Yeah, 4 starts. It will be his 5th start, and it will be his first road game in a non-minor league ballpark stadium.
Yeah, so that's not really conducive to success at Yankee Stadium in a do-or-die game.
His road starts have been at George M. Steinbrenner Field, at the Rays, and wherever the hell the Athletics are playing, Sutton Health Park in Sacramento.
So at least he has pitched as a major leaguer on the road.
He has pitched on the road at a major league as a major leaguer,
outside of Fenway.
There's no section 300 and 400 that he's had to deal with.
Right.
Which is why this game, I think, tonight is so interesting. And I think in many ways, the pressure really is still on the Yankees. Because I think you go into this game and you see the Red Sox pitching situation. You say, all right, like, we can understand the first 2 games, the Yankee offense being a little sporadic. But here is where you got to break through. But we've seen the Yankees in postseason situations just flat out, choke when it comes to the bats, right? Like, so much of the conversation in game 1 was, bullpen this, bullpen that. Why is Fried in? At the end of the day, you couldn't score. You couldn't score any runs. And that's been the conversation about the Yankees pretty much during the entire Boone era, during these postseason failures, has been there have been all these other managerial issues and all these other, fielding issues and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the Yankees got to outslug people. And if they're not going to outslug people, then it doesn't matter. So I think you go into this game saying you got to get at least 5 runs. 5 runs, and I think you win. If you don't get 5 or 6 runs, I think, in this one, then you kind of open yourself up to anything. But what I've seen from the Yankees, I can't just, come in and say, oh, you know what, they're just going to take care of business, because I've seen them in bizarre situations where you would think a lineup that is this potent will be able to just come out here and just smack the ball around. And they haven't been able to do it. The one thing about last night, too, Bogues, that I think struck me was what we saw last night in many ways was maybe a different Yankee team, because what helped them win.
Yankees, damn it.
What helped them win was speed. I'm watching Jazz Chisholm run around the bases, and if you're a Yankee fan or if you're a baseball fan, you're looking at that and saying, where has this been from the Yankees? Like this has been not a part of their equation at all when it came to postseason baseball. They've been very much a home run or bust team, and there you got a guy who legs out. It was a double, but he runs from first to third and first to home rather, in a play that I just don't think that the Yankees, in terms of their roster, was constructed. They didn't have guys who could do that. So I'm wondering if this is maybe a different Yankee team, a Yankee team that does play better defense, a Yankee team that does have more speed, and are they better equipped to maybe go on that World Series run you say that they need to do in order to keep Boone alive?
No, I mean, the only thing that we can't know from the outside is exactly how exasperated Brian Cashman or Hal Steinbrenner are with Aaron Boone, because again, I think they like, and Aaron Boone has signed up for this, is he takes the large majority of the shrapnel when fans are angry. So they might like keeping him there as this kind of like this barrier to all of that backlash. But yeah, I mean, this team is, I mean, they shared the best record in the American League with the Blue Jays. They lost on a tiebreaker. They would have been, so they were basically halfway to being the number one overall seed in the American League. This is a very good baseball team, surviving Garrett Cole's absence. Devin Williams has been great in back-to-back playoff games. And they do have they maybe overused it for sure in game one, but they do have a versatile a roster, I should say, that gives them options to pinch run, to pinch hit, to make defensive change like this. They're supposed to play for this entire month.
I mean, say what you want to say about Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman saved his job for another winter. You take a look at the roster construction. There's no way, even if the Yankees do lose tonight, there's no way that you can fire Brian Cashman. He put all the pieces right there for the Yankees. They just wouldn't be able to execute if they lose tonight.
The only way you could justify blowing the whole thing up is if you just go, it's been too long since we won.
Yeah.
It's not about this year. It's about the last, what is it, 16 years?
For him,
I can't count that high.
Cashman's been there for 25.
Right. But his last win was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Not a drought yet, but it's still a long time ago.
No question. 888-710-4ISN. Manny, confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10.
What was I at yesterday? A 2.5 out of 10. I'm at a 7 today.
That feels justified.
I'm a little more confident because, listen, I thought we were going to get a bad game out of Carlos Rodon. I just don't have the faith in Carlos Rodon. Yesterday he shut me up, so thank goodness. But
although, did you think Boone left him in at a spite? Coming off the game one
to spite me,
all of us.
Yeah, despite everybody saying he took Fried out too.
I mean, he even went out to the mound. It was like, you're good. I'll be back in a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, the fact that today, the Red Sox have Connolly early going today, a guy who's making his 5th career start at the major league level.
What a name!
Plus, you take a look at all of the relievers that Alex Cora used up yesterday. I thought he took out. I thought he took out Bayo a little too quick. What is it? 3 2/3, 3 1/3 innings pitched by him. So that bullpen, I think, is going to be tired. It's the 3rd straight day as well for some of those arms, some of the lively arms, the high leverage guys. So that's why my confidence is a little bit more up. They've got a pitcher making his 5th career start, 3rd time at an away ballpark, and their bullpen, I think, is shot. Yummy.
888-710-4ISN. Yankees playing in the Bronx against the Red Sox tonight, 8 p.m. You got
8 p.m.
Yeah.
8 p.m. The schedule shifts. I saw that too, and I was like, oh, man. I was loving the 6 o'clock game.
Dude, I was in bed by 9:30.
I know. Yep, sorry. You're going to be up late, Manny.
3, 5, and 8 today.
Well, at least it's not a 9:07 start like it would have been Mets at Dodgers.
Any feeling on the other 2 series? Who comes out?
I mean, I just like the Padres in general.
Same.
Because of the bullpen, the way they survived last night, or yesterday afternoon, I guess. Yeah. But they still are having a really hard time. It's now 4 runs in their last 42 postseason innings.
Yeah.
And their bullpen's very good. Can it be perfect like it was last night again today? Maybe. I'm trying to pull up the pitching matchup for that.
Yeah, you got Darvish and Taillon.
That's what's it.
So, I mean, that's the first advantage goes to the Padres. Because this is where the Cubs are missing Cade Horton, who might be the NL Rookie of the Year, but broke a rib pitching at the end of the regular season. So that's why he might have actually thrown game 2 and had Imanaga today. So that's at least a good starting point for the Padres, who I just like them as a team. So I'll stick with them. And I'm still rooting here. You asked me the other day last week about caring about the Tigers, the collapse, and I did not care. I just did, not in a bad way. It just didn't move me. I have found myself pulling for them in this series.
All right, let's go.
To kind of flip the script. Like, all right. And I guess, and this seems like it's an anti-Guardians take, but it's just like, that would be a good last laugh. I fell apart. You caught me. Historic collapse. But I won the thing that mattered.
Yeah, to me, I look at the Tigers. I'm watching them. Yesterday, a game that they've left an army on base
in the balance for 8 innings that game.
Yeah, it was a very much a game in the balance. But the Guardians had 2 hits through 7 innings.
Right.
Like they weren't doing anything. The Tigers were actually making things happen on the base paths and getting guys on base. They just couldn't drive in any runs. It's almost like you just want to. It's almost like seeing somebody. You just want to see them pull through. Like they've been through a lot. And I'm just like, you know what? You guys have been through enough. Like, find a way to get out of this series.
They the stat was, I should have written this down. I believe before the 5-run 8th inning.
Yeah.
So in a game in 2/3, the Guardians had hit 9 balls out of the infield. Period. Like for fly balls, singles, like so they were doing nothing against Tiger pitching, and then Rocchio homers and Naylor homers, and that game is over. I thought A.J. Hinch made some strange moves in that one too. But here we go. Game 3s. That's all you could ask for.
The best 2 words in sports. Game 3.
I know. This has become so weird, right? This is a do or die. Speaking of my fiance, I was trying to explain to her that this is the big game. It's like, it was only game 3. I'm like, well, this is shorter.
I keep forgetting that they don't change stadiums.
That's what my pop said yesterday. He was like, wait, they play again tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah. In the Bronx?
I really like
all
that.
3 games were in the Bronx?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not. It makes sense. I just forgot. Like, I keep waiting for, like, the day off so they can travel somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine trying to play 4 games in 3 days and you're, like, going from coast to coast as well?
Yeah, I mean, the Chicago trip to San Diego.
No, that can't be fun.
No. Be brutal.
What is that, 4 hours? It's 5 hours from here. It's about an hour and a half from here to Chicago.
Hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. Ugh.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
How would Pearl go from Chicago to San Diego? Like through Spokane?
Well, first you go to Alberta. Somehow, for some reason, you have to go north. So because Perloff has weird ways on how to get to San Antonio on this drive.
Yeah, he was going to go to Chicago and make a left.
Yeah, he said going to Chicago was actually going to be the quicker way than just traveling south like most American drivers would. He said, I'm going to go west and north, and then I'm going to go down.
It is the scariest place in America.
Chicago?
His car.
His car, yeah. 888-710-4ISN. We've also been talking plenty of Shedeur Sanders as well. Let's get to Brad, who's been waiting patiently. Brad's in Oregon. What's up, Brad?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
What's happening?
Everybody's got their opinion on whether Gabriel should be starting or Sanders should be starting. Flacco's a backup quarterback or should be third-string quarterback. Bottom line is this Cleveland organization is a joke from top to bottom. They don't have a clue of what they're doing. I told Maggie and Perloff at the beginning of the season, this team couldn't win the Super Bowl if they're the only team in the NFL.
Oh yes, I remember that. We have a drop for that. You've been immortalized on this show.
They're just a bad organization. They're like the New York Jets and Woody Woodpecker from top to bottom. They're a bad organization. They throw something at the wall, and they hope it's going to stick. And if it doesn't, well, the following week they throw something different at the wall and hope that's going to stick. And it's just, it gets to a point that where it's really funny. This Cleveland defense is not going to hold up all year. Mm-hmm. When your offense goes 1-3 and you're out, 1-3 and you're out, and you got to put your defense back on the field.
No, Brad, I totally agree, and great points all around. Thanks for the phone call.
This team couldn't win the Super Bowl if they were only team in the NFL.
There you go. Like I said, he's been immortalized on this show. And I think that's the one thing about this Brown situation. I think maybe for the people who support Shedeur, maybe they're losing sight of. I think almost everyone can acknowledge that this whole situation is very messy, and that it's the Browns, and that they don't get a lot of, goodwill, so to speak, when it comes to how they're handling the quarterback position.
The dumbest football team.
They're a team that I do feel like, despite that, you can still look at what Shedeur has done and look at his track record and look at just how the NFL works and still feel like he is hurting his own cause. Like, the Cleveland Browns are a team that have no stars. They don't have much of a hope this season. They are, as we've talked about on this show and as callers have mentioned, they are one of, if not the worst franchise in the NFL. You don't think that they would want to have a savior come in and change life for them? Of course they would. They would overlook everything under the sun in order to make Shedeur Sanders a star if they believed that he was a star. Now, you want to say that there are biases that are now allowing them to see that? I could understand that. But again, why do you think that's going to change when he gets to the Eagles or the Steelers or whatever, the Bills, one of these high-end organizations who also aren't going to tolerate some of this nonsense.
Right, because we've also, for all of the positives that we think we know or we do know about Shedeur, we have seen the underbelly. We've seen the concern. We have seen him in that second preseason game. He was all over the place.
Yep.
He was running backwards, and that was the football fear of him standing in the pocket and going through his progressions and stepping up and making throws. And we have seen each individual thing isn't terrible. But when you put all of these press conferences, comments, whispering all together, this is the problem. It's like teams don't want to talk about their backup quarterback ever. It's like the Giants when they ran and pulled Jackson Dart away from microphones.
Yeah.
Was that going into week 1? Now, it was a bad look, but that's the point. We don't want this. We don't want you to say anything by accident. We don't want any headaches, no headlines, no nothing. And Shedeur keeps creating things.
I don't come with the bullshit.
Even if it's a reaction to Rex Ryan or a reaction to you and I or a reaction to somebody else, he created yesterday's moments. And the last thing they wanted on a day where they made a QB change that they didn't want to make is having another thing to talk about, and that's Shedeur.
Exactly. 888-710-4RSN.
I don't think I've ever gotten to do a Cowboy Quickie before, so it'll be my honor, our honor, to get to Jerry and Micah Parsons and Rolodexes right after this on Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
That music, E.J. Stewart, Andrew Bogish, in for Maggie Perloff. That means Cowboy Quickie time. And Jerry Jones was on 105.3 The Fan. This was on Tuesday.
That never happens. That seems random.
It happens quite often.
Stephen Jones today, if you missed it.
I know, yeah, exactly. And what's the dog? Charlotte? Charlotte will be on tomorrow. Yeah.
She's on Friday afternoon, just in case the news cycle slows down.
Yeah, they just have a block for the Joneses every week. Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan, still talking about Micah Parsons. It's still a thing. In fact, he told them that he was so excited about it that he was up at 4 a.m. in the morning looking forward to talking about it after they tied. I never seen a guy so excited to talk about a tie. But this was Jerry Jones explaining something that Micah said after that game. If you guys will remember, Parsons told the media when it came to his emotions about it, was he still emotional about the situation? He said no. He didn't come into Dallas with any emotions because the emotions were, they were gone once Parsons didn't get a phone call from Jerry that he was being traded. That all respect was lost because, the Packers, Brian Gutekunst, their front office guy, told him, hey, we're going to talk to Kenny Clark to let him know. And Parsons said, I still haven't gotten my call from Jerry. And he never got that call. So he said, I've lost all respect for Jerry Jones because he couldn't talk to me like a man. That was Micah Parsons. Jerry Jones responding to why he didn't call Micah Parsons.
I really don't want to respond to that at all. I'm in deference to you very much. But that phone call thing got stopped when he told me to take his number off my dial. So don't call him anymore. So I quit those calls.
Take my name out your mouth. Take my number out your phone. I mean,
I quit those calls.
This is Jerry Jones' explanation. Is that I guess at some point during what were contentious negotiations, Parsons said, "Lose my number," which is one of my all-time favorite insult lines.
It's a good one.
I love it.
Yeah.
If Parsons said this to him, great. I think that's awesome. Aaron Rodgers said this to somebody. I forgot who it was.
Shefty?
Maybe it was Shefty.
It was, yeah.
He was like, lose my number. I mean, it's always a great comeback. It's always a great diss.
I like block me back.
I never heard block me back.
Oh, yeah. If I block you, block me back.
Interesting.
You don't know me.
I gotta keep that one. I gotta keep that one in the tuck. So Jerry Jones saying that, listen, he told me to lose his number, so I lost his number. I literally don't have. He literally says he doesn't even make phone calls, which was
losing.
Another bizarre thing he said in this commentary. But I'll say this: as annoying as it is, as ridiculous as it is, I think Jerry still gets to have his day. I know, like, he annoys folks.
Because they didn't lose?
Yes. I feel like we went into that game with CeeDee Lamb being out and the Dallas Cowboy defense, which was still terrible on Sunday, but being the worst defense in the NFL,
there it is.
Thinking, oh my God, wait till the Packers get a hold of these guys. And the Packers did a bunch of nothing. I'm sorry. They did a bunch of nothing. They scored a lot of points. They made a lot of mistakes, and they cost themselves a shot at winning what should have been an easy game, and they got up early. And I think Jerry Jones can today say, listen, I know you guys talked about how much we missed Micah Parsons. Well, Parsons really wasn't that much of an impact most of the game. We scored 40 points on his defense. Don't talk to me about Micah Parsons right now. Like, he was not an impactful player when it came to playoff games for us, which is, I guess, in his, galaxy brain, why he made this trade, even though he definitely wanted to sign him at the first. I think he gets this day. So I don't know how long it will be. This may be a joke in a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now. But I think for today, where Jerry Jones is in terms of the tit for tat with Micah Parsons, I think he's up, or at least he's even. I mean, Micah Parsons' defense went out to Dallas and gave up 40 points.
I've never had anything I wanted.
I don't think they can say anything.
I mean, if you want to give him the win for this battle, that's fine. But in the war, from the way I'm scoring it, he's still way, way behind here because it did not have to be like this. And my frustration now is Jerry keeps saying things about why they traded Micah Parsons, right?
Yep.
And, Dak was indispensable, Micah was, this and that. And there's validity in some of these arguments. Mm-hmm. But he had to make them in March or April when he traded Micah Parsons before the draft to get picks in this draft to help his team immediately. Had they come off of last season and gone, you know what? Something's not right. We need to change things up. We need multiple new players. We need to reset some money. What's the thing we can do now? Well, we could trade Micah. And people might go, why? How could you possibly trade Micah Parsons? And we'll talk about run defense. We'll talk about impact. We'll whisper about his back problem, whatever it may be. And then it would have been a football conversation that we could have agreed or disagreed with, but it would have been a football conversation. But they traded Micah Parsons on the eve of the season because they couldn't sign him to a contract. Yep. Like, this was about a contract negotiation that fell apart. However you want to break up the blame, go ahead, but it fell apart, and that's why they traded him. So my frustration, to keep spinning it like they just made a smart football decision, I can't accept. And there's the valid argument that you just made that, hey, the Packers with Micah Parsons still gave up 40 points and didn't win this game. I think I can easily make the counter to that is, what if the Cowboy defense had Micah Parsons and only gave up 34 points and won the game in regulation?
Very fair.
Michael Parsons.
Like, what if he knocked the ball out of Jordan Love's hand once at the end of the fourth quarter, and that's what changed the game? So if you want to give them a win for Sunday night because they didn't lose, that's fine. But it's going to be a long time until we are at a point where we can firmly say that they got the better of this trade. And that's the only way he gets a win, and we're far from that.
And that's your Cowboy Quickie. It's an excellent point, Bogues. The idea that if Parsons was on the field for the Cowboys, they probably win that game just in theory.
Or maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you have Parsons and they don't, and he didn't make many plays, but he did make one of the few plays that actually may have been the difference in a win or a tie for the Cowboys.
Right, that too.
Like, so that makes a lot of sense. I think the counter to that would be, well, they still would have a bad defense that probably would have given up 30-something points. And for a team that is the Cowboys, so they quote-unquote have Super Bowl aspirations, there's no chance that that team is winning a Super Bowl. So they needed to not pay Micah Parsons $47 million.
Yeah.
And they needed the draft picks. To me, this will all be settled by what happens with the draft. Jerry Jones keeps saying we could maybe trade those picks. He shouldn't be talking anything about trading anything. He needs to be locked into whatever pick he has and the pick the Packers are giving him. And they need to draft young, cheap talent, and they all have to be defense. There's a conversation about maybe they could draft Dak Prescott's replacement. No. Get that out of here.
Yeah.
Like, Dak Prescott, you're stuck with him. You're paying him $60 million. He's your quarterback, and he's a pretty good one. I'm not saying that he's elite or he's a superstar, but he's a good quarterback. He's not the reason the Cowboys have 2 L's in their ledger right now. You have to find a way to reshape this defense because they don't have enough good players. I watched them on Sunday, and they just don't have the horses. They're a lot of these guys that they're going out there. I mean, Dante Fowler and Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, what year is it? 2015? I mean, come on. Like, they have guys, and those guys had been great players at some point.
I mean, look at Russell Wilson. That to me is still the example. They made Russell Wilson look like peak Russell Wilson, and a week later he was on the bench because he played a regular defense, and he looked useless again.
Yeah, unlimited. I mean, they got to just turn over that entire defense, and I think there's a chance that they can, which is why I was for trading Micah Parsons last season. I said this hosting this show. I've been saying it all off season. I am fine with them trading him, but as Bogus is right, how they got to this point is not the way Jerry is explaining it. He's not explaining it correctly. It's not true. A lot of it is a flat out lie. But I think he gets the lie because we all thought that the Packers were going to get go in there and just roll the Cowboys, and Micah Parsons' defense gave up 40 points.
I wanted to shut up and let me answer.
I also will say, we did. This is where we started this whole conversation. I don't care what Micah told you to do with his phone number. You still have to call him and say the trade's happening. You still be an adult, be the better person, pick up the phone. If he doesn't pick up, then that's on him. But make the phone call to go, hey, man, it's finally happened. You're going to Green Bay. Sorry it didn't work out, but thank you for everything.
Especially when you keep saying that there's no hard feelings. That's the other thing.
Right.
Jerry keeps saying things and doing the exact opposite. You're saying there's no hard feelings, but you're like, well, I didn't call him because he told me to lose his number, lose my number.
Is that a dartboard with Micah's face on it? Yeah, but there are no hard feelings.
Call in 888-710-4ISN. EJ and Bogish in for Maggie and Perloff. Gordon Damer in on updates. What's up, Gordon?
Guys, the Sports Flash sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. One of the main complaints about Yankee manager Aaron Boone and the Yanks' Game 1 loss to the Red Sox, the fact that both Ben Rice and Jazz Chisholm were out of the starting lineup. Last night, both were in the starting lineup, so you might be wondering, how'd they do?
First pitch from Bale. Swing on a drive to right. A low line drive screaming out of here. It's 2-0 Yankees on a Ben Rice home run. Hey now.
Yeah, Dave Sims, the call on the fan. Ben Rice, the 2-run home run, put the Yankees on the board. Jazz Chisholm scored the go-ahead run in the 8th inning.
Now.
Yanks beat the Red Sox 4-3 to even up that wild card series at a game apiece. Aaron Judge, couple of hits and an RBI.
Yeah, what do you expect? You know, guys, he's a game changer, but it just shows you the maturity of not, take what happened the day before and bring it in today's game. You know, he showed up ready to play today, and he ended up having the biggest plays for us throughout the night.
But what are his numbers against Connolly early? Will he be in the starting lineup tonight?
I sure as hell hope so. I thought he was going to check out mentally after not being in the lineup. I mean, after his little shtick that he did with the media after Game 1's loss, where he's fiddling around in his locker room pretending to look for something.
He wouldn't
with
turn
his
around.
hangers.
Yeah, he looked like my dry cleaner, looking for my suits and shirts.
Incredibly immature. I thought he had mentally checked out. So the fact that he was able to be the game-winning run, thank goodness, because sometimes with Jazz Chisholm you just don't know.
Should he have mimed?
I mean, he was halfway there.
I mean, he basically mimed in the locker room after Game 1.
And the defensive play, too. Diving to knock that ball down.
Saved the run. Oh, my goodness, what a play. Unfortunate that Ben Rice couldn't make the scoop, and the ball trickled away, and you were shocked at the fact that the Red Sox didn't send that runner from third.
I thought it in the moment. The first base coach was waving his arm to send the guy home. They didn't really mention it on the broadcast in the moment that I can remember, but then I saw somebody posted a shot that's like the high camera behind home plate. You can see the whole field, and the guy, he's got to score. He's rounding third, and the third base coach throws up his hands and says stop. And if he keeps going with the ball getting away from first base, he scores easily. He probably still scores if the ball is fielded correctly, and the guy and whoever at first base, Ben Rice says, I got to throw it home. He still probably is in, and then they lead at that point. That was a big mistake.
Kyle Hudson, the third base coach.
Yeah, we should know his name. Well, we do, because he messed up.
Red Sox fans definitely know his name today. Then you have the Guardians.
A swing and a high drive, deep right. Back goes Perez. Track, wall, gone!
Listen to that crowd.
There will be a Game 3 tomorrow.
Tom Hamilton,
That's
the call.
awesome.
Guardians Radio Network.
Good
Cleveland.
thing they hold on.
5-run eighth inning, beat the Tigers 6-1. He felt confident because the Tigers left 15 men on base. Today will be the 34th time these two teams have faced off against each other. Against each other the last 2 years.
This is a lot of games.
That's the most in baseball.
Yeah.
There used to be a time where like those numbers almost felt more like normal because of the non-balanced schedule.
Right.
I kind of miss those days. I know, and I like interleague play, but I kind of liked it in the previous iteration where you had like that 1 or 2 months where you did interleague play, and then you played your division a bunch, and you played your league. We're going to keep valuing division championship.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Shohei Ohtani coming to Yankee Stadium, every 2 years or every other year. I really like that.
Yeah, I get it. I just feel like, and we talk about rivalries, and we talk about how much they've been watered down in this new era of sports, not just Major League Baseball. I think you lose something a little bit when you don't have these teams playing each other all the time. Like, as bad as those Met collapses were in 07, 08, the fact that they played the Phillies a million times, like those games were just, you lived and died by them. Now I'm living and dying by, like, I know they played the Marlins, so it wasn't like they were playing a division team, but
yeah,
they could be playing anybody in that last weekend. You don't know who you're playing. I feel you do lose something a little bit.
I think the radical realignment ideas are supposed to fix some of that.
Yeah.
If you go to the 8 4-team groups, you'd play a ton of games against the other 3 in your league.
I like that.
In your division.
I'm for it. I know some folks don't want to see, the Phillies and the Yankees in the same division, but I think you actually end up creating some really neat new rivalries that we wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, maybe. I still have a hard time, like, basically getting rid of AL/NL. That seems very drastic in my head.
My only argument and complaint about it is they need to get the salary floor, because I just feel like there will be divisions in the Central that will just be like like just Section 8 of the end of Major League Baseball. It'd just be all poverty teams that aren't spending any money, and the new MLB East or whatever it would be called. It would be like all the big spenders: Red Sox, Phillies, Mets, Yankees. Seems a little unfair. Competitive balance.
Isn't that the Central now, basically, though?
It kind of
both
is.
The National League and American League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just move the Cubs out, and I'm sure there's one team in the.
But
AL
at least like the Yankees and the Mets and the Red Sox and the Phillies, they do have the Rays and the Marlins and the Nationals in their division. Like, they have some teams that also aren't spending money in their division. If they change it up, there's a chance that those teams will be in the South Division. That also will be a bunch of teams that aren't spending, except for, I guess, the Braves. Like, that would be the one thing. They got to have the salary floor so that everyone has to spend money. So you don't have some crazy competitive balance where it's like the MLB East becomes the SEC, basically, of Major League Baseball.
Tigers yesterday were 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Padres were 1 for 11, but that one was a big one.
First pitch swinging in the air to deep left field. Happy's feeling for the wall. He's looking up. It's going to go. Waveland Avenue for Manny Machado. A 2-run homer in the 5th inning. And the Padres do add on. It's 3-0.
That was sweet if he didn't have to feel for the wall. That ball was in the second to last row of the bleachers. That was never staying in the park.
I like the little at the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought that was Damer reacting. I thought he clicked the wrong thing.
Is that Chris Gwynn or Tony Gwynn Jr. on Padres radio? I can never remember.
I don't know.
But he sounds exactly like his dad.
Yeah, I know Tony Gwynn Jr. does local radio
in
for
San Diego.
The Padres. Yes,
Then it's him.
Well, not for the Padres, but for he does like a show.
Right, for our
show.
station.
Yes, the RSC station. So I assumed it was him.
Sounds like his dad, whoever it is. Whichever one it is, it's eerie.
Padres beat the Cubs 3-0, force a game 3 there. So you got game 3, game 3, game 3. How about the Reds? Did they force a game 3? No, they did not. They lost to the Dodgers 8-4. Dave Roberts already looking ahead to the Phillies in the division series. 13th straight time the Dodgers will appear in the division series in the National League.
Very talented ball club. It's going to be a fun environment. I think we match up really well with those guys. They're going to run a bunch of left-handers at us. Talented all throughout the lineup. They got Trey back, so it's going to be a fun series.
I mean,
and all we can hope for is that Ohtani just shoves it down Perloff's
I was going to
throat.
say it's going to be fun, maybe not for Perloff. You talk about what people aren't. I mean, either Perloff may not want to be around for the Dodgers. He seemed very concerned yesterday.
Yeah, I would. I mean, and we're getting peak Shohei. He's starting game 1 on this weekend.
And you know what's funny too? You mentioned the Perloff thing. Like, that's right. Like, because he is Mr. He should not start. He should never see a mound. He's going to get hurt. In fact, I want him to start. I want him to start because he's going to get hurt and he's going to be terrible, and that's going to help my Phillies. and now he's starting game 1.
Let's go.
This is an awesome scenario.
Phillies Dodgers, a lot of appeal. Rams Niners tonight, not the same thing because half the Niners are injured and not playing in this one. But we'll dip our toe into the start of Week 5, Thursday Night Football, right after this on Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. EJ Stewart, Andrew Bogish in for Maggie Gray and Andrew Perloff. Thursday night game, division game, Rams, Niners. But I even feel weird even saying it's the Niners because as a 8.5-point underdog, I believe, and basically half their offense out.
Yeah.
This is not the Niners you would expect to see in a pivotal Thursday night game against a divisional foe. And Brock Purdy, who played last week, but will not play this week. He's dealing with turf toe. He missed a couple games because of turf toe earlier in the year. Was able to play last week. Mac Jones couldn't go. Brock went back in the starting lineup. Did not play that great. Threw two picks. I think he did over 300 yards, but threw 2 picks. Offense was very sporadic, and he dealt with soreness, they're saying, from the game. He said he played the game fine, Brock, in terms of how his health was. Game felt good, but then sore afterwards, and that is essentially why he's not playing later tonight. But I come into this game wondering if the Niners are looking at this Brock Purdy contract they gave him and feeling buyer's remorse. Are you feeling at a certain point now where the Niners, yes, they may be in first place. Yes, I think coming into the year, they were kind of like a sneaky pick for people who maybe were overlooking them as a potential Super Bowl contender. But it feels like they are so far away from that being part of the equation just because of the bodies of some of their older players and now some of their younger players breaking down. I just don't know if they were in the business of saying, hey, we need to pay a quarterback top dollar right now for the people they have around Brock Purdy. So he's going to get healthy. He's going to eventually fix his toe. I do think there may be some long-term concerns about whether or not he's an injury-prone guy. But even beyond that, what I've seen from Brock Purdy has not been that impressive. And now you're going to be going to, I think, an offseason, and multiple offseasons, I think, where you're going to have to overturn the roster a little bit. You're going to have to do it maybe kind of with one hand tied behind your back because you paid Brock Purdy $53 million guaranteed. So we saw it with Tua Tagovailoa. We saw it with Kyler Murray. We saw it with some of these quarterbacks that it was kind of like the default contract. It was like, well, there's no one else, so here's $53 million guaranteed. And all those teams are paying for it. So I just worry about the Niners. If they're not able to retool this thing perfectly around Brock Purdy, they may end up regretting this contract.
There definitely is a population of people who cannot wait, counting down the moments to some team taking a stand with a young quarterback that's in that like weird kind of not actually elite but not terrible situation and decides not to pay him. That they don't give Tua, they don't give Purdy, they don't give their Kyler Murray a contract, and they go, we're just going to reset this or whatever.
Yep.
I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if it's ever going to happen because that's the most important position on the field. And when you have a guy that you know isn't terrible, like the devil you know is better than the devil that you don't. And you don't know, like the next guy that you might pivot to might be worse, might not be better, and you might be in the same situation, and now you're locked into somebody else for a number of years. So I understand why all of these teams got these deals done. It does at the moment in particular places look like it was the wrong decision, but I don't think that it is there yet for San Francisco because until Nick Bosa's ACL blew out, everyone was talking about how good the Niners were, and how far are they going to go? And they're the best team in the NFC West. It's not Seattle. Who cares about Arizona? The Rams are there. The Rams are good, but we're not sure how good just yet. And then Nick Bosa's knee gives out, and now they throw on the Jennings injury and Ricky Pearsall's injury and Purdy's injury that already existed. And you mentioned Mac Jones was banged up. The bigger thing to me is not regretting Brock Purdy. It's figuring out why this keeps happening to my roster. This team, I think officially, is the most injured team for a long time now. It's not about just this one group of players. It's not just old guys breaking down, although that probably is still the bigger group of people. But like, they cannot stay healthy as an organization. They just can't. And some of it might be bad luck, but some of it's got to be about training and rehab and whatever. So they need to figure that out too, so they can play as many games as possible with the actual roster that they envisioned, which is clearly not what we're going to get tonight in this game.
Well, one of the things I mentioned a ton about this injury situation with the Niners is I think some of it has to do with how they play football. Like, when we think about the Niners, and it's funny when we talk about, like, their Super Bowl aspirations, to me, watching the Niners this year, they kind of reminded me of the early Jimmy Garoppolo Niners, where they were just basically kind of a mid-offense and great defense. But when you predicate yourself on being the most physical team, that comes at a price. And I'm starting to wonder if just how they play football and what their identity is actually contributing to some of their injuries issues. This Maggie and Perloff show, EJ and Bogish in for Maggie and Perloff. How successful will Dylan Gabriel be in his next start?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Congratulations, Dylan Gabriel. The Cleveland Browns offense is now your problem. What's up? This is EJ Stewart, joined by Andrew Bogut, filling in for Maggie and Perloff today on the Maggie and Perloff show. The Browns announced a new QB1. Dylan Gabriel, their rookie third-round pick, will now start for the Cleveland Browns overseas against the Minnesota Vikings. And Bogues, I look at this and I want to be happy for Dylan Gabriel. Actually, I am happy. I'm happy anybody gets an opportunity, any young person particularly. But he should not be in this position. And I think that's what kind of frustrates me about this entire ordeal when it comes to Shador acting weird, when it comes to that stupid four-man competition that wasn't really a competition when it comes to the decision to trade Kenny Pickett out of all the three guys or four guys they decided to move on from. We come now into a game where Joe Flacco was so bad in his first few starts that they have no other choice but to turn to a third-round pick who I just have a lot of question marks about whether this is going to look any better for Dylan Gabriel and if they could be potentially ruining this young guy, putting him in too early.
That's always on the table, right? But I think the key thing here is that Flacco gave them no other choice. And I was just walking outside our studio, and our friends down the hall in WFAN, Greg Giannotti, Boomer Esiason, having this conversation. And I thought Boomer made a good point connecting the Browns to the Giants here in New York with Russell Wilson. It's not the plan. Both of these teams are breaking with the plan. Joe Flacco might have been the quarterback in Cleveland for almost the entire year.
Yeah.
Their record might have dictated at some point and the future, they would have had to play at least Gabriel, if not him and Shador, at some point this year to know what they had going forward. But neither the Browns nor the Giants wanted to make the changes when they did, within the first month of the season. So,
Pudgy Utah clapper!
This is, to oversimplify things, this is Joe Flacco's fault. It's a lot of other people's fault as well, but if Joe Flacco didn't have 8 giveaways in 4 games and they had more than 1 win, we wouldn't be going to any rookie quarterback right now. So this is another example of the Browns' just ability to be the Browns, which is not a compliment. But it puts Dylan Gabriel on the field, and again, he's not looking for sympathy, I assume.
No.
But he's been in just one crappy situation after another for doing nothing. He got picked, maybe overdrafted if we go back in time, that people were surprised he went when he did on the earlier side. And then here comes Shador, and ever since, he has just been the innocent bystander in this crazy, heated conversation that we're okay with not giving Dylan Gabriel a shot because we got to give Shador Sanders a shot. And now it's how in the world are you switching from Joe Flacco not to Shador Sanders, and sweet little Dylan Gabriel sitting there going like, maybe I can do a couple of things on the football field.
I mean, you'll remember him just simply trying to say, I'm not an entertainer, I'm a football player.
Right.
Turned into leading the 6 o'clock news. Right? Like in a situation where the NFL itself actually took him out of context in order to push a Shador narrative. So yeah, in many ways, he's been an innocent bystander in a lot of this. I want to read you this list. And I know I'm not crazy about doing lists in radio, but I think it's important because to me, I'm seeing a third-round pick being jettisoned into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And this is week 5?
Yeah.
This felt early. I'm like, even I know there are rookie quarterbacks, first-round picks. Like with Dart, at least it's a first-round pick, so you can understand that a little bit. There are second-round picks maybe see getting in early. But I was like, do third-round picks normally have to play this early? I just went through the notable guys. First of all, there's a ton of guys who just never saw the field. Never saw the field ever. Like, forget about even playing in their rookie year. They just didn't become an NFL quarterback. Like, they were in their first contract, and they just never played. But these were the notable guys basically in the last 15 years or so. And I highlighted these guys who played a little earlier than most. Colt McCoy for the Browns, week 6 because of injury. Cody Kessler also for the Browns because of injury. That was week 3. Jacoby Brissett, week 3, 2016, injury plus Deflategate. He was QB3, and Deflategate and then Jimmy Garoppolo getting injured again, surprise, put him in the lineup. Mason Rudolph, 2019, injury, week 3, Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. And then Davis Mills, week 3, Deshaun Watson situation where he was holding out /
in Houston, right?
Non-suspended or maybe suspended, that whole fiasco. He got in there because they wanted to move off from Tyrod Taylor after 2 rough starts. Otherwise, most of these guys I saw, you're talking about week 10 for someone like Nick Foles, a guy who won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. He didn't play in his rookie year until week 10. Other guys, week 8. Desmond Ridder, even our recent guy, week 15. I just feel like, to me, with the Browns, it just shows how inept they are. Because if they were a smart organization or a regular organization, Kenny Pickett would be starting on Sunday. That's who should still be on the team. That's who should still be on the roster, and that's who should be starting, because Dylan Gabriel, with that offense and how bad they look right now, and his limitations in terms of just his size and arm strength, I think we could be walking into a walking nightmare with him having to face Brian Flores' defense, a Minnesota Vikings team that's now desperate because they are losing ground in a very competitive NFC North. And then the playing overseas thing even is another wrinkle to this. Like, I just don't understand how we got here with the Cleveland Browns. Like, it did not have to be this way. You didn't have to choose 2 quarterbacks in the NFL
It's
draft.
all self-inflicted.
You didn't have to, like, if you're looking for a backup, you didn't have to get a guy who was 41 years old. You could have just kept Kenny Pickett, the guy who you kept saying you wanted to start. It just feels like everything, like you mentioned, is just self-inflicted. And now I'm worried that both Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, they both don't have a shot here because the team has managed this so poorly.
We should probably have said this before the 2-hour mark of the show. This is one of the worst possible times to make a quarterback change to a rookie. We have not played a ton of international games, but we've played a lot of them now, and never before has a rookie made his debut in an international game. And just from the just from the logistics of this, so they practiced yesterday after they announced the change, and they get on a flight right away to go to London. They're having a walkthrough today, and then their regular football practice, full practice on Friday before they get to the weekend. So the week's already different. You've already taken some regular kind of full speed, full team reps away from Dylan Gabriel. You're changing significant, the setting is changing. Your body clock is changing. Like, there are real things that he now has to get over that he wouldn't have to get over normally, even just waiting a week. So you come back and go, and it doesn't really matter, right? I know the AFC North is oddly open right now because of Joe Burrow's injury, and because of Lamar Jackson and all of the Raven injuries, and they're already 1-3. So I know on one hand, the door is open to do something, but it's really not really wide open for the Browns. They could have just let Joe Flacco eat it for one more week because this week was going to be extra difficult to get Dylan Gabriel into the mix, but they chose not to. And on the fly more than normal, he's got to take over and introduce himself to people and get rhythm with all these different things and be in a huddle for the first time. And then he's going to face Brian Flores' defense.
Yeah, and it's also why the 4-quarterback thing annoyed me so much. I felt like before training camp, mini camp, all these things, there were reps that were being taken by a guy who wasn't going to be on the team. And that was one of the things that annoyed me the most. Like, a lot of reps. Not like, 4th-team reps. Like, the Giants had Tommy DeVito. We knew he wasn't going to make the team. So, yes, they had, quote-unquote, 4 quarterbacks, but he's taking the least amount of reps. He's, the least priority. With the Browns, it seems like Shador maybe was the least priority, but he's a big character. He takes up a lot of oxygen just because of the questions you get about him and stuff. But then on the field, you got Kenny Pickett taking meaningful snaps, Joe Flacco then taking meaningful snaps. This is time that Dylan Gabriel could have got to get ready for this moment that he probably didn't get because you had this, fugazi competition. And now we get into this week where it's a different week and he's going to get less reps than he would normally get to get ready. And he's got to make this long travel trip. It just boggles my mind. I don't get why this had to be this way.
So this may again be me giving them too much credit, but I never believed Andrew Berry when he said we're comfortable with keeping 4 quarterbacks because nobody is, nobody does it. That to me was never going to happen one way or the other. Either they were, someone was going to get hurt. One of the rookies was going to somehow play his way into being expendable, or what happened that somebody needed a quarterback and they moved a guy to fit that team's need and get a draft pick back. Now, I guess that what I'm assuming is that then the way that Dylan Gabriel and or Shador played in whatever limited reps they got made them comfortable enough to trade Kenny Pickett. That there was a world where Flacco and Pickett and one of the rookies, or maybe they were going to be completely off the board and somehow keep all 4 of them.
Right.
But I part of me wants to believe that the 2 young guys did a good enough job in the spring and summer that it made them comfortable to get rid of Kenny Pickett, even at that on the flip side, keeping Pickett or having Pickett did prevent them from getting even more reps in the summer. But maybe they were good enough, and maybe it's Gabriel in particular, that they were like, hey, we actually don't need Kenny. We can move Kenny. That clears our logjam, and if we have to make a change, we're okay going to Gabriel.
Yeah, 888-710-4ISN is very possible. I was looking at this list of third-round quarterbacks in the last 15 years, and the guys I just named, by the way, there are no future Hall of Famers there.
Foles
may get a statue in Philly.
Right.
He may be in some Philly Hall of Fame, but he's by far the most successful guy here. These are also a lot of journeymen, a lot of guys who did not work out. And now
some of them are Perloff's friends because they're backup quarterbacks.
Exactly. And now you have Dylan Gabriel being thrown into the fire. He's going to have, you assume, the rest of the season. But again, this game is going to be a real tough one.
Yeah.
And I want to listen to Kevin Stefanski. Let me get cut 12 here. Kevin Stefanski, we may not be sure if Dylan Gabriel is ready, but Kevin Stefanski seems to think he is.
From the second he's been here, he's been working very hard, very intelligent young man. He's done a nice job throughout practice. And, he's been this whole season, he's been learning how to get yourself ready and understand the rhythm of an NFL week and what that looks like as a backup. And obviously now feel like he's ready to go in as a starter.
I think the one thing that maybe Dylan may have going for him a little bit is I am a Kevin Stefanski guy, which is why this whole thing's been very annoying, quite frankly, because I feel like I've defended Stefanski a lot. I think he's a very good NFL head coach. I could hear an argument that maybe he's not the greatest play caller anymore, but I think as an NFL head coach, he has shown that to survive this Brown situation has been unbelievable.
Are you going to do his charts again?
I got to find his birth chart to see how he can succeed with this job, or if he's going to keep the job. But I think that may be the one thing going for him when he talks about preparation for a week and this being so different. Maybe Kevin Stefanski, having seen everything, maybe he could find a way to help him here. This is not, Trevor Lawrence playing with, Urban Meyer, right? This is not like a complete clown show of a head coach. Maybe the organization, maybe general manager, front office, maybe just the whole environment, sure. But maybe Kevin Stefanski is his one saving grace with this, going up against, again, a very tough team this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know why I live in this world where I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because they have done nothing to deserve it. Maybe they all are just buffoons. And no matter who's playing quarterback, who's calling plays, who's blocking, who's catching, it's just never going to work. And then we can eventually switch to what the bleep was Myles Garrett thinking by backing off his demand to get out of there. The good thing, I guess, from where I sit, is that as excitedly as they talked about Dylan Gabriel and whatever yesterday, it was obvious that they did this sooner than they wanted to. Definitely. That this is not how they wanted to go. But they're doing it because they feel like they have to. This gives them at least a better chance at winning a football game. But it is such a bear of a week. It's already difficult enough going across the Atlantic, and now you're throwing a quarterback change in for everybody. It's not just a Dylan Gabriel problem.
Yeah.
This is a thing for the wide receivers. It's a thing for the offensive line. As we all know, Gabriel and Flacco are not the same player. So now you're talking about you need to tweak things and add things that let Dylan Gabriel be Dylan Gabriel. He can't run Joe Flacco's plays. So now you're throwing a lot out there when guys already have extra stuff.
Yeah.
It's just not conducive to a win. Maybe it helps that the Vikings are on their second week outside the U.S. I don't know if you saw this. The Athletic had a great story about the guy who is the operations guy who was in charge of this trip.
Yep.
This unprecedented 2-week, 2-city European trip. It's remarkable and scary the amount of planning that they had to do to figure this out. They had to send so much stuff to London, to Europe, that they put things on a ship in the summer.
Wow.
They were shipping things across the Atlantic because they couldn't get everything in the planes that are going across now. They had to put cargo, like those big tanker things. They had to fill with, because everybody's a creature of habit. So they were loading up on like American snacks and all that kind of stuff and equipment that they had there. So on top of like hotels and transportation and where we're going to practice and we're going to do media, they've got a tracking order on like 3 Maersk containers on a ship slowly moving across the Atlantic all summer.
Yeah,
how crazy is that?
We're supposed to think that an NFL team or teams in Europe is going to be something that's viable.
Yeah. No.
888-710-4eyes. And you talk about all the challenges that Dylan Gabriel's facing. Shedeur didn't give him any help either. Because then Shedeur Sanders, as if this situation wasn't already messy, he decided to come in and do a miming routine to, I guess, clap back at Rex Ryan, who was very critical of Shedeur Sanders the previous week, saying that he believes he's ready to start. He believes that he's actually better than other guys that are already starting. And actually, when I hear that remark from Shedeur, it reminds me a little bit of what we heard from LeBron James talking about Bronny. It was that Bronny's better than some of the guys already playing in the NBA, and you do wonder at some point if those words will come back to bite Shedeur. And the one thing I was thinking as we were doing this show, and I thought about it a little bit yesterday too when I watched this thing happen, is there any chance that Shedeur is moved off the Browns this season? Like, could this have been potentially a final straw for them? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's been an issue. Like, they've spoken highly of him, but we don't really know. I thought Rex Ryan saying that if I know, then the league knows was kind of an ominous comment that I didn't know if it was something we should know more about or if he was just being Rex Ryan. Is there a chance that maybe they look at this and say, you know what, you're more trouble than you're worth?
What's so good about Cleveland?
I had this. I had the same thought when we didn't know why he did what he did.
Right.
If that was about the team, if that was about the situation, if that was about not getting promoted, or thinking I should be the guy that gets the start, that to me would have been grounds to get rid of him. Mm-hmm. But now we're told that that's not where that came from.
Yeah.
So that changes things a little bit. But all we're doing now, though, is which is not good for him, is adding another thing to the list of this is the headache we didn't want.
Yeah.
So at least that wasn't an attack on Stefanski. It wasn't an attack on Andrew Berry or the organization or Gabriel or Flacco, but it's still him doing something that he didn't need to do that gets the wrong type of attention on the team.
I will say this. I think the worst thing that can happen to Shedeur Sanders moving forward is if Dylan Gabriel goes out there on Sunday and lights it up.
Yeah.
If that happens, or if Dylan Gabriel keeps this job and plays really well this season, if a lot of Shedeur supporters are right that the NFL has had something out against this guy and that they don't like him because they don't like his dad or for whatever reason, or because he's a brash African-American quarterback, Dylan Gabriel will give them a reason to get rid of him. If all of that is true, then the first sight of Dylan Gabriel looking like he is him means Shedeur Sanders, I think, will be gone. So in sports, you never root for your teammates to do poorly. You never root for an injury. You never root against your guys, regardless of a depth chart. That's just sports culture. But I think for Shedeur Sanders, there will be consequences for his future in Cleveland, I think, if Dylan Gabriel is a stud.
Well, the good news for Ohio football fans is things are going really well for the Bengals. Never mind. We'll check in on Zach Taylor and the
Guardians
that he sits on atop the Bengals organization. We'll get an update. A lot still to do as we chug along on this Thursday morning edition of Maggie and Perloff. Football season season is heating up on Prize Picks. Mom and Dad, Perloff and Maggie, make decisions every day. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So keep the season rolling by getting $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Plus, the app is really simple to use. Even Perloff can use it. You just pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projections, and if you're right, you could win big.
Prize Picks is also available in 40-plus states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Most importantly, they don't play about your money. All transactions on the app are fast, safe, and secure, which is good for Perloff because sometimes he doesn't know what soccer player or boxer he's picking when he's making these picks. So
and he's easily hackable.
Yes, exactly, as we've seen as well. Sorry, was Ian Rappaport, whoever got a weird text from him?
Chrissy Teigen, yeah.
Yeah. Don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and code MNP and get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups in which you play $5. The code MNP on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. Guaranteed Prize Picks is good to be right. Must be in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P. You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Without Maggie or Perloff, they are back in their normal spots tomorrow, just like last week. It's me, Andrew Bogish, Annie J. Stewart, Manny, and Chris Persianen is here as well. Is that even worse than Maggie's?
Kinda.
Yeah, that was awful. That was the point. We've got a lot to do still in the last 90 minutes or so of this show. Manny has an entire Excel spreadsheet that he's turned into a PowerPoint presentation on Knicks basketball. Because it is, air quotes, back today.
It is back.
You got that right, brother.
Knicks, Sixers, noon in Abu Dhabi, preseason basketball, if that is your thing.
Oh, I've been counting down for 2 months now.
Manny, gentleman in a Knicks jacket, T-shirt, and hat, is that your thing?
Yeah, big time. I could. What gave it away?
I gotta say one thing. I am a fellow Knicks fan, a fellow diehard Knicks fan.
Go Knicks.
Done the podcast here for Odyssey. So I get Manny's excitement for it. I am also excited. I will be locked in on noon. But his baseball team staved off elimination. A team that he had actually written off. He said that they were done.
Yeah.
He said, my life is over.
He was in Knicks mode yesterday.
Knicks basketball season. And they had an inspiring late inning
I don't recall
win.
those quotes.
Late inning win. I don't think this is the day to be decked out like one of the the Knicks kids that dance at the halftime show. I think this is the day you need to be wearing Yankee gear. This is a Yankee playoff game. And as much as I love Knicks basketball, and yes, I also love Knicks preseason basketball, this was not the day to bring out the Knicks gear when your team is playing in the playoffs. I wish I was you. I wish the Mets had a do-or-die game. I'd probably be throwing up right.
Wish to be me.
I wish I'd be throwing up right. I'd probably be throwing up right now as I have anxiety of them having to face Shohei Ohtani in a game do-or-die. But I would rather be you than be me. And if it was me, I'd be wearing Mets gear. I still have that Mets chain on that's going to be retired for the rest of the winter because I don't wear it when the Mets aren't playing or when they're playing poorly. And here you are in full Knicks gear.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been counting down the days for this moment for quite some time. So God forbid that a little boy has a little passion for something. It just happens to be the Knicks right now. But you know what? The job's not finished in the Bronx. So if the job does get completed tonight at 161st Street, I will be decked out and once again in Bombers gear.
I will say this very quickly in your defense.
Go ahead. I love it when you defend me. Score very easily.
You do get a point or two for not switching back into Yankee gear today after you gave up on them yesterday because they lost game 1 of the Red Sox. Had you showed up today in your Jeter jersey and a hat and you were like, I'm back in, that would have been more annoying than this. This is still too much. It's completely unnecessary.
Did you guys see the shirt? It's my Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns,
I know.
Josh Hart T-shirt.
Yeah, no, we saw it.
Yeah, you went all out. Again,
I look fly.
This is coming from a guy who has a gold Knicks jacket.
You're gonna watch this game at noon.
I'm gonna watch this game at noon, and we, night 1 of the season, I'm wearing the gold jacket again. But your baseball team is playing. I do agree with Bogus. It would have been a little fugazi to be like, my team is out, and then as soon as they win, you come back in Yankees gear. But to be honest, I don't know if you're noticing it. I feel like that energy is going around here a little bit. It's not just him. I noticed a young man who used to be in this slot also kind of flip-flopping a little bit. One, Sean Morash, also known as Mraz.
You threw me off by young.
Oh.
It was young for some people,
young and
right?
thin. What? Who?
I mean, I feel like I saw him kind of being like, "Oh, never a doubt, let's go Yankees." When the day before, I heard him saying this. I told you guys they were going to lose early. I feel like a lot of Yankee fans. I don't know what's going on with them. Usually they're the most confident, the most like, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. This postseason, I don't know if Boone and Cashman have broke them, but this postseason, the flip-flopping I'm seeing from Yankee fans as to like what they actually expect from this team is bizarre.
Because at the end of the day, I feel as though the Yankee fan knows what is going to happen. They know that at some point, defense is going to ruin the entire season. So that's why we've been flip-flopping. Right now, they're playing okay defensively. So until then, until the Yankees have another error in the outfield or throw the ball away, trying to make a play, trying to, turn a double play, then, we'll be flip-flopping back. But I do think that the Yankee fan does know what's going to happen eventually, and we're just trying to avoid it.
All you are your words.
I haven't figured out the true Manny mind. I haven't broken it all down.
Manny hasn't. He found that out either.
That might be my problem.
You get your birth chart.
But I can speak firmly for Sean, and Sean's flip-flopping is just designed to have Sean always be right. So if he's different day, different thought, he's going to end up being in the right place at the right time. And nothing that he said before matters now.
That's a smart man.
Yes. So there is no holdover. There are no receipts. There's no accountability. Yesterday he's out. Today he's in. And either way he wins.
It's just like Mac from Always in Sun Philadelphia, right? I'm playing both sides so that in the end, I always win.
Yeah.
That is Sean Marash. Maybe Manny's learning a little bit too.
Manny Marash.
I just feel like it's those two and it's others. I'm seeing a lot of folks. So I keep saying, I feel like you've been talking about the Yankee downfall all summer, all late summer. And here you are, and now you won one game, and you're like, oh, well, here we are.
We're back.
World Series back on. I'm like, you can't
right.
do that. Like, I think most sports fans, especially because most fans haven't had, maybe in the last 15 years is different. But outside of that, they don't experience the kind of success that the Yankee fan has had. Maybe unless you're a UConn women's basketball fan or something like that. Like, some of us have never seen titles. And the way that we live and die with our team, and we still try to have optimism about our teams, and the Yankee fans who have had all the success could just be like, oh, I'm in today, oh, I'm out tomorrow, oh, in today, out tomorrow. I don't know. I found it a little annoying. 888-710-4ISN. Our good friend, Big Friendly from California, is on the line, wants to talk some Major League Baseball playoffs. How you been, Big Friendly?
Represent. Manueli represent. Represent. Manueli represent. Little Big Swifty, my man. The way you were elated after what happened to the New York Yankees yesterday, I just got one question for you. EJ, my man, I need you to cover your ears.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Little Big Swifty.
I'm listening.
Would you prefer the Mets to lose in game one of a playoff game or have the second biggest collapse in baseball history?
The Mets.
You're asking me to be rational, and I know that I cannot be in this situation. I am a card-carrying, lifelong, never-ending Yankee hater. The Mets often live in a world where they're not going to win, so I can't count on that. So my only joy was the Yankees losing. Every once in a while, the Mets can actually present a team
what a
that
sad
I can.
Life.
Yeah. And, it is. Oh, it is. I get it. So yeah, the only thing that feels good after the way the Mets finish is if the Yankees don't make it to Friday.
What a pathetic.
So
man.
let's go Red Sox.
See,
I hate Manny.
Say it again, Big Fan. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. As a Los Angeles fan, I would prefer to see my teams, the Rams, the Dodgers, them win. But if hey, what's up, Flash Gordon? Thank you for entering the conversation, my man.
I didn't say anything.
I know, but I've just seen you on TV. You're still the man.
I appreciate that.
Flash Gordon, I would prefer to see the Dodgers win the World Series. I would prefer to see the Rams win. If the Chargers win, I would cheer for the Chargers because they're Los Angeles. If the Angels win, I cheer. So I'm trying to see where your New York fandom stops once you get past a certain street.
Okay, we can walk down this street. It's very easy. The Yankees and the Islanders and the Devils are my sworn enemies. If the Jets make the Super Bowl, EJ and whoever else in my life will have my support. Now, I'm not going to be wearing a jersey. I'm not going to be rooting. But
also, don't hold your breath.
Exactly. Maybe that's why I feel safe saying it, right?
This crap is crap.
But there is no conceivable way, and here comes the one caveat, because it's in play right now, a Yankee-Philly World Series or a Yankee-Brave World Series there are no winners. And I don't know how to handle those things. I hope we don't get any more of them. But no, I don't. I want nothing good for the Yankees. I want nothing good for the Islanders. I want nothing good for the Devils. That's just the way this goes.
Bryce Harper.
And any Met fan that is rooting for the Yankees right now because they're from New York is not a Met fan.
Real quick, Manueli, big friendlies in your corner. I caught the Yankee game. I believe it was the 6th inning on when they were 3-3. I was sitting on my couch sweating like it was a Dodger game. I'm in your corner, Manueli. Don't worry about little Big Swifty. Don't worry about the Bionic EP. Don't worry about Maggie's feet. Big friendlies in your corner.
No. Always worry about Maggie's feet.
We got to worry. Big, you could be 7 feet. I know you're tall, bro. You could be Victor Wembanyama, man. She will crush you with those enormous feet. She'll step on you like an ant.
Big.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I have gigantic feet.
It's like a Sasquatch walking around this building.
We were all with you, Big Friendly, until it was Maggie's feet. We're like, that is
they're too dangerous.
They could be on a watch list.
My huge, gigantic feet that are so freakishly large.
Oh, man.
You guys make my morning every morning. You guys have a great day. Manueli, go Yankees.
Vamos Yankees.
Big Friendly, great call as always. Thank you for that. I feel like there are a lot of folks outside of New York, and I don't want to make this a New York thing, because I think there might be other cities too who don't understand the dynamic. Why won't you just root for your own city thing?
Nah.
It just doesn't apply here.
No.
It does not. There's too much animosity, especially this season, between the Juan Soto, exactly.
Yep.
The Juan Soto tug of war that happened between the Yankees.
Who from
and
what?
Mets.
What is he from?
Like, there's a lot of pride in being the number one team in the city that just does not apply in Los Angeles or other cities that have
like Chicago.
Two towns. Yeah. Exactly. Same thing. It's just not. It's just different.
Yeah, I mean, there are no White Sox fans pulling for the Cubs right now, right?
Doubt it. Highly doubt that.
I can't imagine. Yeah. Now, are they rooting against the Cubs? Probably not. But I don't think that. Again, the dynamic is just different here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the worst. Growing up, when the Mets were terrible and the Yankees were peak Jeter era Yankees, I had a Mariners hat. I had a Indians hat. Like, I was all in on if you beat the Yankees, you were my hero.
I had a friend who he's also he's a Red Sox fan, so he does that obviously because he's a Red Sox fan. But he's also a huge Islanders fan, and whenever the Rangers were in the playoffs, he literally would change his social media profile to be whatever fan that team was.
That's how you do it.
When they played Montreal in the playoffs, not only did he change his whole persona to be.
Did you speak French?
He everything he posted on Facebook and Twitter were French.
Yes.
He tweeted everything in French. It was all "Let's go Habs."
I Frenched that thing like I was in Paris.
It was a full character change. It was a character performance. What is that? What character actor? Whatever they call him.
Well played.
Method actor.
Yeah.
This was a method acting performance from my college friend.
So it was like Daniel Day-Lewis always being Abe Lincoln.
Exactly.
Your friend was always French-Canadian. I like it.
He was French-Canadian. That was like a 7-game series, I think. It was a long series.
I'll take
he was
it.
French-Canadian for like 2 weeks.
Oui, eh?
That's French. You gotta boot it.
888-710-4 ISN. Gordon Damer here with updates. What's up, Gordon?
Guys, 47 years ago today.
Oh, boy, what happened?
Bucky Dent earned a new nickname in the city of Boston. Yankees and Red Sox set for a little bit more history in their rivalry tonight. Yanks stave off elimination 4-3 last night over the Sox. Two of the big heroes in Game 2 were the two guys that Aaron Boone benched in Game 1. Ben Rice, 2-run home run to get the Yankees on the board early. Jazz Chisholm scored the eventual game-winning run, scoring from first base after working at a walk-on 2-out in the 8th inning. Jazz also, in the 7th, had a huge defensive play. That was a diving stop, 2 on, to keep the ball in the infield, prevent the go-ahead run from scoring. Some people feel like the ball was hit hard enough that the run still should have scored. The third base coach for the Red Sox, Kyle Hudson, making a bad read to keeping the runner at third. Alex Cora, though, doesn't want to hear anything from any of you.
That's their opinion. I think it's easy from up there say that he should have could have scored. They're not down there with us.
It feels like is it one of those things where regardless of what happens, you always defend the third base coach? I feel like there have been multiple instances this year where the third base coach clearly made a bad decision, and the manager always backs them.
Although somebody did
Aaron Boone chewed out Travis Chapman. I think it was in Miami. There was a bad read by Chapman, the third base coach for the Yankees, and Boone in the dugout kind of laid into him.
But softened those statements after the game, though.
In the post game, though, he didn't blow him up. I don't think.
But there was a team that took somebody off of third base this year. I can't remember who it was. It was relatively earlier. It was middle to early in the season. They took a guy off of third base because of some issues.
I just want,
But usually it's and especially Boone will never go after any of his own people publicly.
Yeah. The Arizona Diamondbacks, they removed Sean Larkin from his role as a third base coach back on August 20th, 2025, due to a season filled with questionable decision-making on sending or holding runners at third base.
That does not normally happen.
No.
That is very rare. So, Cora decides to back his guy. I think that's just what he was going to do.
Yeah, they both can be wrong.
Sean Larkin, he was removed from his role, but he remained with the organization as an infield coach.
Okay,
so just a demotion, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox one kind of goes against the Yankee book of put pressure on them defensively, right? So the Dodgers obviously last year, you get a chance to run, you run. That kind of went against the trend this year of playing it safe rather than holding that guy at third base.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, no one gave the Reds much of a chance to beat the Dodgers, and look at that, they didn't. L.A., an 8-4 win, wins that series in 2. The other series, though, still going. Guardians beat the Tigers yesterday, 6-1. Tigers were almost as busy beating themselves, 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Certainly not what A.J. Hinch was looking for.
It was a tough day. I mean, obviously, it's they made the most of their opportunities, and we left 15 guys on. So I think that, that paints the picture.
Yeah, it kind of paints a picture there. 1 for 15, left 15 men on base as well. Padres manager Mike Shildt went to his bullpen in the 4th inning yesterday. Oof. But that was actually a good idea, especially when he got to Mason Miller.
Base is empty, 2 outs, 3-2. Here's the pitch to Crow Armstrong, taken on the inside corner, top of the zone. Strike 3 called, and for the second consecutive day, Mason Miller strikes out the side in the 7th.
Does that help the Met fans any that Pete Crow Armstrong is now 0 for 6 in the series?
No.
5 strikeouts, not really?
I feel like he hasn't had a great second half.
He has not, but still.
But didn't he score the run that basically put the nail in the coffin for the Mets?
No, because they won the next day.
Yeah, they had more up.
There was a lot of nails in that coffin.
Yeah, there were plenty of nails. He was maybe one.
There was more nails than coffin, you might make.
Some duct tape on there, too.
Padres beat the Cubs 3-0 to force that game 3. Manny Machado, big 2-run home run.
It's my favorite Manny.
Off Shota Imanaga. Craig Counsell was asked whether or not it was right to leave Imanaga in that spot.
Look, the result suggested we should have done something different. Really just confidence in Shota. Plain and simple there. I thought he was pitching well. I thought he was throwing the ball really well. Unfortunately, he made a mistake.
I agree, Craig. Maybe something should have been done.
Also, one other piece of news from baseball, Brian Snitker will not be back as Braves manager next season.
He cried yesterday, explaining his decision to, I guess, retire.
How long has he been in the game?
Well, he's been with the Braves in some capacity since 1977.
God bless.
Manager for a decade.
Yeah, it feels like Ronald Acuna may be someone who's happy, but I think the Atlanta community, Atlanta around, I think he meant a lot to that organization.
Yes.
So it is definitely a big loss. Gordon, thank you so much for that. Coming up, there's a coach who's on the hot seat that may have a get-out-of-jail-free card because of an injury. We'll tell you who that is after the break. It's EJ and Bogic in for Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
EJ Stewart, Andrew Bogish, in for Maggie and Perloff. And Bogues, whenever I've hosted solo shows, whether it be here on the Infinity Sports Network or locally in New York City, people who listen to me know I always have 2 rules for any show I do. Number 1, I'm keeping it 100. Number 2, I'm ducking no smoke.
Okay.
Which they're signed to say, call in no matter what you want to say, 888-710-4ISN, or hit me up on social media. I think someone who maybe has listened to me before got that message because they actually direct tweeted me something we've been talking about on the show, which leads us directly into this conversation about Zach Taylor. He said, EJ, y'all wonder why Buckeyes fans are so obnoxious? The Clowns and the Bungles are 2 other professional teams. That's from Boy Can Be Ninja, Mark Breen, apparently.
Okay.
So shout out to
Any
Mark
relation
Breen.
to Mike?
That's his brother.
Oh, no.
He's from Ohio, so I can't imagine he's related to Mike. But shout out to him. And it leads us to the Bengals, who have also been a rough watch this year. Monday Night Football, that was one of those games that
I forgot that we're going from that game to this game tonight with half the Niners.
Oh, yeah,
Primetime football,
Yeah,
baby.
primetime football. This is what happens, right?
Catch the fever.
I mean, that was one of those, nope, not happening games for me. I saw the score. I think I watched one Bengals drive and said, nope, not happening. Turn it off.
Because we're another day closer to death.
Now, did you go to bed or did you watch some kind of comic book inspired show or play a video game?
Play nice.
Actually, that night I was still raging. I still was raging about the Jets on social media. I think
Okay.
If you actually watch my social media, I think I was just still on social media, just angry, talking about the Jets and how bad things were and how the refs were. So I actually didn't go to sleep immediately. I just did not watch the game.
Okay.
But Bengals lost.
Good choice.
They now enter a week where there are questions about Zach Taylor and his future. You had Jamar Chase saying essentially that the team gave up on Monday night. You saw him getting after Taylor on the sidelines, Taylor going crazy on the refs. It just was a bad overall look. And you do have the question, though, this is a team without Joe Burrow. This is a team that doesn't have one of the upper echelon, no doubt top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, a guy who is an MVP candidate when healthy. And Jake Browning has been awful. He has not played well. Whatever Perloff, and even I thought of him, because I actually did like how Browning played a couple years ago. We thought about him. He is not that guy right now. He's been terrible. Does that in any way give Zach Taylor a reprieve when it comes to his job security? Because he does not have his starting quarterback.
You're asking me to get into Mike Brown's mind, and I don't want to at all because he is the key factor here. He's the one picking contractual fights with players. He's the one not spending on important position groups to protect Joe Burrow, to make that defense any bit better.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Mike Brown would want to do at the end of this season, as disappointing as it might be with Zach Taylor. A thought that just popped into my mind after talking about this with you last night and now here, does Zach Taylor want to stay in charge of this nonsense?
Interesting.
Because if you're not going to give him a roster to return to what they did one time before, getting to the Super Bowl, obviously you don't want to walk away from Joe Burrow, but you don't want to just sit there and just keep taking this when your ownership is not giving you the right amount of support. Remember that 18-month window where we thought Mike Brown finally figured it out?
Right.
Like they hired some scouts. They had an actual front office. And then, we're in the Super Bowl. Like, see what happens?
Yeah.
And now since then, he was like, that wasn't that fun. Let's just go back to the way it used to be. And bare bones basically across the board. We'll pay this guy, but not that guy. Holdout after holdout. Who needs blockers for Joe Burrow? Like, none of it makes sense. So is Zach Taylor maybe hoping to get fired because he just wants to be away from this madness?
I didn't even think about that, but that's an interesting thought. Like, is this not a desirable job? And it sounds crazy only because every head coach wants a superstar quarterback.
Right.
Every single one. And there isn't one quarterback, one head coach or head coaching candidate who would not want to have Joe Burrow as their starting quarterback, even with whatever health concerns you have with him, because when he is healthy, he's a guy who can throw for 5,000 yards.
Embarrassing performance by us.
He's a stud. Me and Manny may argue about whether or not he's top 2 or 3, but we both would agree he's a top echelon quarterback. With that being said, the Bengals are a mess. And it feels like the locker room's kind of coming apart. And I look at this situation for Zach Taylor, and I think it's one of those fair or unfair. They might just have to move on because the message might be stale.
Right.
Like I think he's a competent, good head coach. I think he's been a good play caller. I know he's kind of, shifted play calling duties at times. But, if I was him, I may want to be gone too. Because if he leaves, and, we see issues in Philadelphia with their play calling. We'll talk about A.J. Brown at the top of the hour. We see some of these teams that, the Texans, who have talent but can't move the ball. If I'm Zach Taylor, I say, man, I may get fired, but I'm probably the number one call for someone looking for an offensive play caller. And, man, if I could get the Eagles offense or, C.J. Stroud or one of these, teams that have offensive issues, but we know there's talent there, and I could just – he can just get himself right back into the NFL as a head coach. In some ways – if I was him, maybe a step back might actually be good in a weird way.
Yeah, no, I right now I feel confident in that Zach Taylor would find work pretty quickly right away. I don't know, though, how long that feeling would last if they just keep, just piling on these lackluster, broken, disappointing seasons with some things that are out of their control and other things that they have self-created and make it just that much harder to be successful. I mean, they are 100% wasting Joe Burrow. And they may be wasting a good, smart head coach in Zach Taylor as well, because no coach is good with a broken roster that lacks talent.
Yeah, no defense, no offensive line, and a meddling owner who is the general manager. I mean, the only other situation like that is the Cowboys, and look what they've been. I mean,
I almost would rather sign up for a meddlesome owner. It feels like he's just like, well, whatever.
Exactly. 888-710-4, I send this number to call. EJ Stewart, Andrew Bogish in for Maggie and Perloff. We mentioned those Eagles. A.J. Brown explains himself, but do we buy that he is not upset with his quarterback or team? Let's talk about it after the break.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Do the Eagles have an A.J. Brown problem? What's up? This is E.J. Stewart, joined by Andrew Bogus. You're listening to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie and Perloff out today, so me and Bogues are in, and I'm sure Perloff would love to talk about this topic, his beloved Philadelphia Eagles and one A.J. Brown. It feels like the A.J. Brown experience for the Eagles has been like, you know, when you have like a great, like you have like a great meal, like a fast food restaurant or whatever.
Okay.
And let's say it's like a Five Guys or whatever, and everything's great. Everything's tastes amazing and it's a great experience. But then like you got the one like burned fry or one burned onion ring that falls into like your fries or whatever. Like, you know, I think everyone's dealt with that where it's like, what is this thing in here? And almost kind of, now you almost question everything else you've eaten. Now you're like, oh man, like what is going on here?
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's been kind of the A.J. Brown experience for Philadelphia, where everything feels great and should be great. They win all the time. Typically, he puts up big numbers. They've had a lot of success. They won a Super Bowl. They've been to another Super Bowl. You think everything's great, but then like an A.J. Brown reading a book here, an A.J. Brown tweet here, A.J. Brown's story on Instagram there. And it's just like, that's like the burned onion ring or burned French fry that you accidentally ate. And you're like, what the hell was that? And it makes you question everything. And I do wonder for the Eagles, at a certain point, does this become too much trouble than he's worth? Like A.J. Brown, over the weekend, the Eagles have another kind of scare, but they survive the Bucs. They win, remain undefeated. But A.J. Brown, basically on the milk carton, not really a factor in the game. And he posts to social media, I think it was a Bible quote.
It was, yeah.
A Bible quote that I'm not going to requote, but it was basically being like, oh, if they don't listen to you, then just shrug your shoulders and move on. And it becomes now a thing, all right, well, what's A.J. Brown said about now? I know he didn't get any targets, but now he's going public with this gripe that he has. And he decided to explain himself. So here is A.J. Brown in his own words talking about what the post meant on social media, who he was directing that towards.
Sunday after the game, I let my frustrations boil over. I didn't speak to the media. I had a chance to correct my frustrations, and I continued to let it boil over. That's on me. You know, I take full accountability on that, posting that. My message on Twitter wasn't directed at anyone in the building. Not my coaches, not my quarterback, my GM, nobody.
Okay. Raise your hand if you're confused. Because those two things can't be side by side. You can't say, I was frustrated, I stayed frustrated, I let my frustrations out, but the proof of my frustrations becoming public were not about the team or my coach. So then what was that about? On Sunday night, what other problem did you tweet about that clearly mimics the problem you're having on the football field that you were frustrated with earlier in the day?
It's almost like if I'm almost going to Aaron Rodgers' brain trying to figure out what A.J. Brown's trying to do. It's almost like he's saying, like, maybe, well, just the universe and my circumstances are out of my control. So, like, I'm just upset. I'm just upset to be upset. I'm not upset at anybody. It's just this is my scenario, and I'm just mad. But you're right. It just doesn't really make any sense. You can't say I was frustrated after the game, and then I posted a social media post that wasn't about the game or wasn't
Don't
about
be a
the
freaking
people
weirdo.
That made me frustrated, which was I was not getting involved in the offense.
Yeah, there's no explanation here that makes this okay, right? Like he was upset because he didn't get the ball enough. So then he goes home and he tweets a Bible passage that basically is like, if, as you said, if you're being ignored or whatever, just shrug and move on. So like, if you're being ignored in the passing game, just deal with it. If you're being like, so those two things are obviously connected. So either just own up to it, or you should have known better to tweet about something else hours after you were visibly angry about your football game. You should then know better. So there's no getting A.J. Brown off the hook for this. It was a bad thing to do, whatever the reason for doing it was, but it was clearly about this offense and his role in it. So just own it.
Let's hear more from A.J. Brown about those frustrations and what was his deal on Sunday.
I think it's normal to have frustrations because of the standard that we hold ourselves to, and we have a lot of talent on offense, and to be honest, defense and special teams have been low-key carrying us, and it's just like we need to clean up what we need to clean up and get on the same page and, and play to the ability that we say that we can and be who we are.
I'm confused here, only because the Eagles scored 24 against the Cowboys, 20 against the Chiefs. That was a more defensive game. But then 33 in a comeback against the Rams. Obviously, one was a special teams play. And then they scored 31 points against the Bucs. It feels like he's saying we have these offensive struggles, but really they're A.J. Brown struggles to me. They're not necessarily the entire offense. You want to say maybe they're not having the best passing success and the most passing yards?
Yeah.
Sure. But A.J. Brown, you kind of signed up for this, bro. Like, this is not a team with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback that's ever going to be top 5 in passing yards, top 5 in attempts. Like, it feels almost like he doesn't know what he signed up for with going to a team in Philadelphia who has a dual-threat quarterback, who has Saquon Barkley, where you're just not going to be the top priority. It's just never going to happen. You're more of a luxury piece for them. And when they go to you, you destroy your other teams because they're so worried about the Eagles' running game and all the other headaches they cause offensively that it allows you to get one-on-one coverage. It allows you to be the one-on-one physical specimen that he is. He is awesome in those one-on-one jump ball situations. He kills man-to-man coverage, right? So, like, I just feel like he's just not happy with the role he has, but I don't know what to tell him. This is always going to be his role. So if you're Philly, can you overcome this? Because I watched this
they're 4-0, yes.
You say yes, but here's what I'll say, though. I'm starting to get 2023 vibes from the Eagles. Remember, that was a year where they started, I believe, 11-0?
Right, and then they got tired from the Super Bowl.
Right, and then the dry heat from the previous February, according to Perloff, was why they then lost 4 of their last 5 games and got eliminated in the first round. Of course, they had injuries in the playoff game. I think they lost to Tampa Bay in that game, in that year. But I get where this whole thing that the team was just in turmoil. They were winning every week, but there was this turmoil that they couldn't overcome, and eventually it was going to get to them. Part of it being the coordinators sucked, part of it being the team didn't like each other, and part of it being just like the hurdle of being a team that lost in the Super Bowl and just the run to the Super Bowl all catching up. They won the Super Bowl this time, but I'm starting to wonder if they are feeling that a little bit. Like, this is a team that really never really liked each other that much, a team that has been through a lot, and you have guys who, yes, they like success and they like winning, but I think they also, in terms of A.J. Brown particularly, they like their numbers. And they have an offensive coordinator who's embattled, who people aren't happy with right now. It reminds me very much of what happened in 2023 where they had offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator issues. I'm looking at the Eagles as a team where a lot of folks, you'll look at them and say, why can't they repeat? Something with the mojo is off, and I just don't think that it's like, well, they won a championship last year, they'll figure it out. They have shown that they don't handle success well. That's something that Maggie's talked about a lot. I'm sitting in her chair today. I think she's on something about that. Can the Eagles and can A.J. Brown handle success, or will they crash out at every moment when something bad happens? And it's going to take just one little tilt. All it took was a one loss in Philadelphia in 2023, and everything went to crap. I think they're also in that same position potentially where they have one bad game or one bad stretch. Will they be able to get up off the mat? It just seems like there's not going to be someone, whether it's A.J. Brown or someone else, causing some kind of issue for them.
Yeah, I still am in the camp of they just know how to win, and that's the key thing here, so they can overcome almost anything. And I don't think the problem here, I think they understand A.J. Brown. I think they know the deal with A.J. Brown would, and off the top of my head, I don't know contractually where he is. Could we get to next offseason and they decide to redistribute their resources and move on for him? Maybe that's possible. I don't think A.J. Brown by himself defines this season. I think the offensive struggles define the season, you're right in saying that he should have known that he wasn't signing up for the greatest show on turf. That was never going to be this. But in a lot of categories, they're in the bottom 5, bottom 10 of the league right now. He didn't sign up. He definitely didn't sign up for that. And they won a game somehow on Sunday where they did not complete a single pass after halftime. I don't know how you do that, but they did it. And that, to me, remains their superpower. But their offense, you should be frustrated if you're in that offense. And the second clip that we played of him, I've got no problem with anything he said in there. The first one is baffling and contradictory and whatever. Right. But the second one, and then there's even more where he goes, I should want the ball. You want me to want the ball. I want the ball here. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, those are things that he should say, he should believe. I'm fine with all of that because the offense is just right now, it's not good enough. Now, and where it might get them is when they're playing in January against other elite teams. Right. You might be able to get through the regular season just fine, win the East again despite your issues. But then in January, you need to have your you-know-what together. And if they're still at the bottom of rushing yards per attempt and passing, then they're not going to win then. Yeah. But I don't know that it ruins their regular season.
Interesting. It's bizarre to look at their rankings because they're 7th in points scored. Yeah. But then they're 31st in passing yards. They're 29th in yards per carry on the run.
They're giving up sacks.
They have 1 million sacks.
They can't stay on the field right now.
It's bizarre that they've scored this many points. Again, they had one such special teams touchdown, so that skews it a little bit. But it shouldn't be 7th in scoring and 30th in total yards. I don't know how you even get to that conclusion as an NFL football
defense team. Giving you short fields, and then you score, and then you throw in the blocked field goal touchdown.
Right.
Do they have a kick or a punt return touchdown this year? But I mean, so they're not driving 90 yards at a clip to get their touchdowns.
Yeah. So there are offensive issues. They are scoring points though for Philly. So that's why when I look at AJ Brown, I'm like, all right, yes, you're not. Maybe they're not playing well, but they are scoring, and you got to hope that maybe you'll figure this out. But I just have a question for you. You're talking about maybe they can get through the regular season in this kind of world that they're in and dealing with A.J. Brown. Do you feel like the Eagles have to play better offensively in order to win a Super Bowl? Because there's a part of me that looks also that this defense that has been elite has had a good-ish year. They haven't been nearly as good as they were last year. But is this a reason to be concerned? Because there's a scenario where they're just so talented that even their C game just beats most teams. Are they in a scenario where they can get back to the Super Bowl playing this way?
No, I think they need to get to the Super Bowl again. So winning 2 playoff games at least. I think they need to get all of those important offensive numbers into the top half of the league. I think that's good enough. It does not need to be an elite operation. I do think they need to make the fear of Saquon Barkley real again.
Yeah.
Because Saquon is off to a slow start, and if he's not dynamic, if he's not the guy you were game planning for last year, that changes things. But they just need to clean things up. They need to get back to, again, top 15 in a lot of those things, and that should be good. Because I still just think they know how to get to the end. I mean, the Rams game, I can't get past the fact that, you know what we need to do, guys? Block back-to-back kicks. Then that's how we're going to win. They're going to do something unique, stupid, annoying to the outsiders. They're gonna get a sack. They're gonna get a pick six. They're gonna get one creative offensive touchdown that makes a difference. They just, they've started to throw wrinkles off the tush push now. So there is creativity. There are different ways, and whether it's Sirianni or a coordinator, they do just know how to stumble upon the right path to a win.
I like to circle in the schedule what I feel like a turning point in the season will be for a team as we kind of go through the year. Because I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule. I don't know if the answers for how bad their offense has been is going to be solved in the next 4 weeks before the bye. Because they have the Broncos and they have the Vikings, but sandwiched in between those two games are 2 games against the Giants. The Giants have had a 29th ranked defense. They played very good this weekend against the Chargers, but
Jackson Dart, baby.
Otherwise, the Giants' defense has had a lot of problems, even though they have a ton of talent. So I see a situation where maybe the Eagles have some good offensive performances mixed in with some tough defensive games against the Broncos and the Vikings. But that I circle, to me, I will know if the Eagles are right by week 10. Week 10, they go to Green Bay, and then the next week they play Detroit. If their offense against those teams is looking how it's looking now, that's when I'll say, you know what, they're in the 2023 mode, and I'm very worried they're not going to be able to get back. Because that's essentially around the time things fell apart last time. It was essentially week 12 that time. This will be week 10. I think that's when we're going to know, because at that point you would have had a bye already. We've already seen now 4 weeks of more time to get this thing figured out by the time you get your real test against two what we think are elite teams in the NFC. If they can't get it figured out by then, I do think that there's reason to be really concerned about Philly.
I cannot remember where the last Super Bowl was. Was it?
I was there and I can't even remember.
Was it Vegas this year?
New Orleans. No, New Orleans.
New Orleans.
I was there when it was Vegas. That was 2 years ago.
All right, so it was in New Orleans. So they were indoors, but it's still New Orleans in February. I was there for the previous, the Ravens-Niners New Orleans Super Bowl. That actually might not have been the previous one, but I was there for that. And the weather wasn't that big of a deal. So I don't think there's going to be any delayed hangover
unless
from
the lights go off.
Super Bowl weather
that
last time.
But Perloff did join the Super Bowl party the Eagles had when they won.
That's true.
And he may go to, well, look, I saw how heavy those drinks were. I saw the heavy pours coming from the bartenders. And,
sounds like a great time to me.
And the Super Bowl hangover was literal. And this was not just an actual hangover, it was a real, it's New Orleans. What do you expect? And how do you expect to go from that incredible over-the-top party in New Orleans to another season, and then we're in January and we have to face the Lions? Like, who could have thought we were going to lose by 20 points? Who could have got that? I definitely see that scenario where that could happen. 888-710 for ISN.
Should we do some NBA?
Yeah.
Should we get to Giannis, who's not technically with the Bucks yet because he's stuck at home. He's got COVID. We can't fly just yet.
How do you get COVID in 2025?
It's still
it's
thing.
Around.
It's a thing?
Yeah.
I thought it was eradicated.
No.
Watching too much Aaron Rodgers videos, apparently.
Oh, man. Do I have to wear a mask again?
If you want to be around Giannis, possibly.
Yes.
Don't be a freaking weirdo.
I think I'm good.
But what team is Giannis going to get healthy with? Maybe that? Oh, all right. Giannis to the Knicks.
Get ready to learn Greek, buddy.
We'll do that after this on Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is sponsored by the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Learn how it's so much more than just another SUV at HyundaiUSA.com. Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Without Maggie and Perloff, Andrew Bogus, EJ Stewart, Manny, Chris, Gordon Damers here as well. And you at 888-710-4ISN, the 888-710-4476. Manny just scared me for a second. I thought I made a mistake when you jumped out of your chair.
No.
Caught my attention.
He made a mistake. Nothing on air or anything. But
why would you say that I made a mistake on the air?
I'm sorry. I'm sure Bogus wanted to.
I forgot something.
Yeah.
But it's not that. It won't really punish the show.
Is Manny Rodriguez.
He's the king. That's who.
Manny Rodriguez is also now a local New York City college basketball insider.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he just needs a school to make him their Woj.
Yeah.
He's walking around breaking news, recruiting tips, who's here, who's at the gym, who they're talking to.
You're not wrong.
I
know.
I really love. I didn't want to use the word gimmick because I think it cuts it short. I love this part of the brand for you, Manny, because I feel like that is one thing that people are into. Like, people are definitely into what local high school sports guys are doing, who's getting offered, who's not. I am. I know I am. I'm always locked into this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the school that I do play-by-play for has 9 players with a Division I offer, and they just had one of their star players commit to Bogus's alma mater of Fordham University to go play. So little local action here. Chris also went to Fordham. So, I mean, yeah, I might dabble a little bit in the high school / college basketball world.
And
just give me a job, Bogus.
Yeah, we ask you to do basically nothing here in terms of hours. You're in and out the door in about 14 minutes every day, so you've got all this time to hustle, and you're doing it. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I got to make an extra penny around here.
You got to be somewhere else to tell John Calipari, hey, I'm Manny Rodriguez. and then walk away.
Hey, me and Johnny C, we tight. You know what I mean?
Somebody's got to do that job, and it's up to Manny to do it.
Brad was there too. Me and Brady C. Yeah, we bonded.
Oh, the younger Calipari.
Yeah, that's right. The son, right? Son.
Yeah. I hate Manny. One day soon will NBA teams get to recruit Giannis. We still don't know what the long-term Giannis-Bucks relationship looks like, and we have only gotten bits and pieces recently because Giannis, again, has yet to arrive in the States for training camp because he's still has COVID, which many just learned is still a thing in 2025. So we're also an informational show. It's not just sports and entertainment. But we find ourselves in this weird spot with Giannis because he's reached the you-know-what or get-off-the-pot stage of this situation, right? Like, he's acting, what's odd to me about this, EJ, is that he's almost acting as if nobody in the NBA ever asked to be traded. So he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Or he's trying to be, like, delicate or respectful or whatever when guys basically have mini protests and don't show up for work to get what they want. And usually they get what they want. So I don't know why this has not reached some conclusion yet.
It is bizarre. And this whole thing got revved up again because of Giannis. So during media day that he was not at because he had COVID, but I guess he was there remotely. You had the owner who obviously addresses the media talking about the team. And the owner, Wes Edens, says he spoke to Giannis in June, and it was quite delightful.
I had a great conversation with Giannis back in June out here, and he made it clear that he was very committed to Milwaukee. He likes being here. He likes his family being here. He thinks that the team is obviously, again, we've had some kind of bad fortune in these last couple of years in the playoffs, but there's a lot of positives.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah. Committed to Milwaukee. That's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go.
So you think end of story. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to the season.
All right, next topic, guys.
So then Giannis gets asked about this meeting that happened. And his response was, huh?
A meeting. Say that again, Eddie. I had a meeting with Wes.
Yeah, you had a meeting with Wes in June.
I can't recall that meeting. Cannot recall that meeting. I'm not trying to be honest. I can't recall that meeting.
3 times. He can't recall that meeting.
I cannot recall.
And can you repeat the question to me, sir? Like he needed to have the whole thing laid back out for him. How does this happen?
I mean, this sounds like Roger Clemens, at the congressional hearings or his perjury trial, right? Or Sammy Sosa, who started speaking Spanish because he didn't want to answer any questions. I mean, what is this? I cannot recall a meeting. Like, so he's saying, I guess he doesn't recall the meeting happened. I guess he's not saying it didn't happen. But yeah, the owner saying that he committed to the Bucks. I'm usually not the side with the owner guy, but I can't imagine why you would make something like that up knowing that Giannis is going to be asked about it. So I tend to think that Giannis gave him some kind of commitment. Could he have maybe stretched maybe how far the commitment was? Maybe. But I think he probably said, yeah, no, I want to be here. I'm not planning on getting traded right now. And the owner may say, oh, look, he's committed. And then you do this. And I kind of wonder for Giannis, for me at least, I'm tired of him. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of this bit. He's really, for a guy who's been a very likable guy, a guy who's been very easy to root for. If you're a Bucks fan, at a certain point, haven't you had enough of this? Because you start to get to a point where them trying to appease him, given the bad cards that they've been dealt in terms of salary and roster, actually hurts their chances of actually getting back to championship contention. Because they signed Miles Turner. They had to cut Damian Lillard and all the money he was owed and stretch it in order to sign Miles Turner, a guy who is a good player, a guy who just helped, the Pacers get to the NBA Finals. But I don't think it's the kind of guy that if you're thinking that Giannis is going to want to leave in a year or this year or, the trade deadline, that you're signing Miles Turner to a long-term deal. I think you would want to keep that money and keep your flexibility. They didn't do that because they're like, well, let's see if we could make something out of this mess of Damian Lillard getting hurt in the playoffs and try to help him out by giving him a guy to replace Brook Lopez. That would maybe make some sense, as much as I didn't love it, if Giannis was committed. If he's not committed, you don't even think about doing that. So with the Giannis situation with the Bucks, he's actually hurting the team by doing this. I think he thinks he's doing them some kind of solid by not blowing them up and not like being a distraction. But in many ways, these teams are not going to shift focus and change direction until you say the words, I want out. There is not going to be a passive-aggressive way to get out of Milwaukee. So in doing this, I think he's wasting time because they're not going to just say, you know what, we just feel like trading Giannis today. We're done with this. They're not going to do that. He means too much to the city. He's too great a player.
I mean, and they don't recover from it.
No.
Like they immediately become a non-important team.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to get back things where you go, oh, Bucks are still contenders.
Right, exactly. This is not going to be, we hated the Luka Doncic trade, and they're not even getting a guy like Anthony Davis back for Giannis Antetokounmpo, given his age, given the situation. It's not going to happen. So, and that was a trade that Nico Harrison still can't sit in restaurants in Dallas without being harassed by fans, even though they just got him a flag.
Well,
I mean, this is not going to end well in any stretch. And it almost feels like Giannis, maybe he's being almost too much of a nice guy in his head. Maybe I'm trying to figure out what's going on in his brain. Maybe in his head he thinks this is the nice way to do this, to keep his options open, but not go bad or say anything bad against the organization. But he's doing himself and the team a disservice. Either say, I'm committed and we're going to do this thing in Milwaukee, or just tell them you want out so they at least know, okay, we know what our future holds. Instead, they're playing this middle game where they're in the Eastern Conference that's kind of wide open, but nobody's picking the Bucks to get out of the East, which is kind of an embarrassment considering they have Giannis and they have two teams with major injury. You would think the Bucks would be a lock to get out of the East in most scenarios, but they're not really part of the conversation right now.
Yeah, it almost feels, I think we've all been in this situation, maybe, where like you kind of know a relationship is over, but you can't bring yourself to like actually have the breakup conversation. It almost feels, and again, we probably shouldn't work from the assumption that he wants out because we don't really know what he wants. But until he says he's staying, I think it's also okay to assume that he's like working himself into wanting out.
Yeah.
But and while you're trying to be whatever, nice, polite, like salvage feelings, all you're doing is creating more hard feelings. Like at some point, you just need to make a clean break and move on.
Yep.
And because, as you pointed out, the Bucks needed, or actually, it's actually already too late for the Bucks to know what's going on because they 100% handle Dame and Miles Turner differently if they're trading Giannis this past summer. So they're already kind of now locked into Miles Turner. Now they almost need to keep Giannis to have any kind of way to have a competitive team in the immediate future here. So he's already put them in a weird spot kind of calendar-wise. And if he wants to stay, just whatever he wants to do, get to that point, make up your mind and say something so everybody can move on because it might suck in that day or two.
Yeah.
But it's always better sooner rather than later to make these decisions.
Every now and then I find an old lady and I push her. Okay, I'm the bad guy.
One thing.
JR said that?
What a drop by JR. That was glorious. Oh, man. I love JR.
He pushes old ladies?
I don't even know where to go from there. But no, I just feel like with Giannis, you know what I feel like he wants? I think he almost wants, in a weird way, because this went terrible for this guy, but he now knows him very well. I think he wants what happened to Dame Lillard in Portland. I think he wants to just do this half in, half out thing long enough to where the team gets bad enough to where they decide, you know what, it's actually better for us probably if we just trade him. We can get some assets. We can just figure this thing out. We got to reset. And then Dame could be like, oh, I never really demanded a trade. They kind of wanted to trade me. He eventually, I think, did technically request a trade, but they drafted Scoot Henderson. Like, they were very much being like, we're ready to go as soon as you are. I almost wonder if he wants to just get to that point. Like, I'm not going to be the bad guy, so to speak, and demand a trade, but things are going to go how they're going to go this season. And it's going to make sense for them to move on from me anyway. So they're just going to trade me regardless. And I can still have my statue outside the arena when I retire. I can still be Mr. Milwaukee when I come back. And I don't have the issues. I do think Giannis cares about being the good guy and the nice guy. And for Dame, he was able to come back to Portland. He's now on the Blazers. And he's getting a hero's welcome back. I wonder if this is maybe this long game that he's trying to play. That he thinks that the team itself will just go how it's going to go. And then they'll have to trade him just because it will make sense. They're not going to be contending anymore.
I don't remember the way Dame always handled this. I remember having conversations about whether or not they should move on or he should want out. But did he create this weird purgatory there? Like, do I want in or do I want out?
Well, he was different from Giannis in that he kept saying that I don't want to join a super team. I'm not going to just demand a trade. I want to stay in one place, which is not necessarily what Giannis is doing. Giannis has been anti-super team, but he hasn't necessarily said I don't want to be traded. He's done this weird middle game. But things got so bad, he did get to a point where, remember, before the draft, he was like, I'm going to be very curious to see like what the Blazers do to help build this roster out. Right. And they drafted a point guard. So then he's like, all right, I guess they clearly don't want me here, so I'm going to – and that was the Blazers' sign to tell him, we don't want you here, basically.
Yeah.
I think I picked the wrong wife.
So I don't know if like he's waiting for the Bucks to get a lottery pick and then draft like AJ DeBanza.
Another 7-foot Greek guy?
I don't know. Yeah. Good luck finding a Giannis that grows on another tree.
Thanasis.
Is another high school brother that's in high school maybe? Like, is he waiting for that to happen? I don't know. But that, to me, is really the only way this ends unless he actually steps up and says, I want out.
Does he think he's forcing their hand into making even more roster moves by doing this? That he's waiting for them to keep like swooning over him and flirting with him and putting new people on the roster to make him happy?
I mean, they are. Even if that's not what he's thinking, that's what they're doing. Again, Miles Turner is there because
right, but
of Giannis.
But does he want more than Miles Turner still?
Definitely,
he's not happy with. So he's just.
I think he definitely. If I think in a perfect world, the Bucks were a really competitive team and a team that can win a championship, I don't think he would ever think about leaving. I think he wants to have a super competitive team in Milwaukee. It's just not really that possible. That they're going to keep trying things. But just Portland's example, eventually they traded CJ McCollum. Like, eventually it got to the point where it's like, it just doesn't make sense to build around you anymore. Like, I'm sorry, bro.
Right.
Like, we're cutting your lights out. like, you didn't pay the electric bill. I'm not paying the electric bill. Like, you're getting evicted. Like, that's kind of what happened, I feel like, with Lillard. And at a certain point with the Bucks, they may come to that conclusion with Giannis.
So how do you think this plays out? We get to, like, opening night, and he's a Buck, and he's there, and he just says something basically like, I'm here. It's time for the season. Let's go.
I have this weird theory that the Bucks may be, like, kind of bad this year. Like, this, I know the East is open, but I think a lot of teams have really caught up to how to cover Giannis within this version of the Bucks. Not the old version that had a lot of talent. It was a lot harder. But this version where it's him and just a bunch of guys, basically, I wonder if they're kind of a middling 500 team, and he becomes this major conversation point in the deadline. Now, does he get actually traded? I don't know. But I think this is the first season where we're really talking about teams are calling the Bucks about Giannis, and we'll see what happens at the trade deadline. Because I think the Bucks may be in a situation where we think, okay, well, the East is bad, so they'll be still locked into maybe a 4 or 5 seed. We'll see. I don't love that roster, and I think that there are some teams in the Eastern Conference that maybe we're neglecting, like the Pistons and some of these teams that were lower, the Hawks, teams that were lower in the standings, they actually may be better set up to make jumps than the Bucks are.
I mean, if Antetokounmpo moves at the deadline, that's a season-defining trade.
It's like
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yep, that's it. That's definitely it.
888-710-4ISN. I almost said bogus is on updates. Gordon Damer is on updates. What's up, Gordon?
Guys, since baseball introduced the 3-game wild card series, every team that has won game 1 of the series has won the series. This year, maybe that changes. Padres certainly hope so. San Diego staved off elimination yesterday. 3-0 win over the Cubs at Wrigley. Padres manager Mike Shildt, not messing around, went to the bullpen early and often, pulled Dylan Cease after just 3 1/3. His pen got the final 16 outs and gave up just 1 hit.
One of the separators for our group, the guys are in display today, Morihone, Miller, Suarez, but also Estrada, Peralta, Morgan, Bradsby's shown that, is the ability to trust their stuff and be aggressive.
Yeah, meanwhile, then you have the Guardians beat the Tigers yesterday 6-1, so that forces a Game 3 between those two clubs. Cleveland broke it open in the 8th, 5 runs. Stephen Vogt's team getting it done with some new faces, including Chase DeLauder, who made his major league debut in a playoff game.
Really pleased. We talked before the game. You guys asked, are you comfortable playing 3 guys that have been here for a week? Like, yeah, this is who we are. I couldn't be more proud of our guys. Back against the wall, back still against the wall tomorrow. And we're going to come out ready to go. I guarantee that. And so are they. It's going to be another dogfight tomorrow. I guarantee it.
I'm glad some of those guys are new, because watching that series over the last 2 days, there are guys who I didn't even know were alive playing on both of these teams. So I'm glad some of them are brand new. That it's okay that I didn't know about them. The Lauder's one of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a team who essentially, you have a team that was basically gave up. Right? The Guardians, like they sold at the trade deadline.
Yep.
Like, they were trying to give up on the season. So it makes sense they have young players that are out there that nobody knows who they are.
I didn't know teams could do that. I thought, you gave up and you gave up, and you blew a lead and went like 18 games under 500 for 3 months. I didn't know you could give up and then win games and make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
Extra wild card team.
It's interesting he said that this is who they are. One of the people that they are just got there. How can that be who they are if you're just saying the guy? Never mind. Yankees.
We just we'll use whoever we can, and this is the organization. And we're ingrown.
But this is who we are. It's three guys who have been here for a week. Did you just get invented? Yankees and Red Sox headed to a Game 3. Yankees top Boston 4-3. Ben Wright's two-run home run in the first. For him, his first at bat, I should say, Jazz Chisholm scored the go-ahead run in the 8th inning after working out a walk with 2 out in the 8th, then scored from first to put the Yanks ahead to stay.
I told the first baseman any ball hit to his left or right, I was going to score. So that's all was going through my mind. If he gets a ball, any corner, any gap, I'm scoring no matter what.
Jazz courtesy of Yes.
How about Fernando Cruz's celebration after a big out in the 7th inning? That dude nearly popped a vein. Good Lord.
Yeah, that guy's calm.
Remember how people freaked out when Jabba Chamberlain did that? And it was far less.
It was far less. Jabba would give you maybe 3 fist pumps. Fernando Cruz gave you 4 fist bumps. You got a couple of chest pounding. You got him talking to the gods as well, screaming in Spanish, probably screaming in English as well. That's one crazy Puerto Rican.
He took his hat off to really let the emotion. He tucked his hat in his glove.
Yeah, we were on our phone call when that play happened, and you were about 30 seconds behind, and I kind of went crazy, and I just told him, just look at Fernando Cruz, and the first thing that Bogusch said was, where'd his hat go?
It's Trevor Story's at bat, bases loaded, and we're just talking about what I don't even know what, and I just hear Manny going, oh no, oh okay. So I'm like, oh, something's about to happen. So then I see Story smoke that ball, and I think it's at least a double, if not a grand slam, and then cut the catch, and then Fernando Cruz having this seizure on the first baseline.
I feel like it shows growth among the baseball community that, Jabba Chamberlain, who took some heat sometimes for his celebrations, and Cruz is mostly celebrated. Maybe Red Sox fans hate him. I don't know, but
I'm sure, but that's part of it.
But that's part of it. But
I hate him because he got the out and he's celebrating.
It's not even. It's almost not even because of the antics. I almost feel like I think more in the baseball community as a whole. I don't feel people saying, "Look at this guy."
And if anybody was going to get criticized, it would be a Yankee who are usually known to be stoic. You know what I mean? Like a business approach. That's not generally what you would think. So if he's not getting criticized for it, I would think nobody's going to get criticized.
In more reliever talk, did you guys know Steven Matz is still in the league?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he's a reliever.
You're going to see him again today, I bet.
Yeah, probably. That tired bullpen. That's why the Yankees have a shot, I think.
There you go.
Dodgers put the Reds out of their misery, 8-4. So L.A., 13th straight appearance in the NLDS. Terry Francona, not that bummed about it, though.
We're not the finished product, but they competed like crazy, and that's what we asked them to do. When things didn't look very good, they kept competing. Even the last couple nights, we're getting our ass handed to us, but they keep going. That's a good trait.
Did they though? I mean, they got there because the Mets just could not win any games. It wasn't like the Reds went on some 7 out of 8. 8 out of 10 run.
They played well.
Yeah.
I feel like.
No, there was a stretch where they had won 8 of 10. The Mets had lost 3 of 10 or 7 of 10.
It was a while ago, though.
Yeah, it felt like they caught up, and then there was this. I feel like almost 2-week thing where there was no movement. Neither team was really winning a lot of games. The Mets could have been out. Before this Marlins series, the Reds were playing so well. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Pirates.
Yeah,
they lost to I think they lost to the Nationals too.
The Reds didn't do what the Guardians did.
No,
but they also didn't. They weren't nonstop terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, and just happened to get in.
What a credit.
They did win a couple of games.
They were not you put that on the movie poster.
But
not
yes,
nonstop.
It was definitely the Mets' fault.
It does feel like for me though, I hope Terry Francona, I hope he manages until he's 100. I don't know why. He is one of my favorite.
The dude almost died the dugout in Cleveland. He's not.
Yeah, I know.
He's not making that
but
far.
There are people though who feel like they are born to be something. That guy was born to be a baseball manager.
Yes.
Everything about him, he talks, how he acts, how good at his job that he is.
He managed Michael Jordan.
I know. That's the craziest fun fact about Terry Francona. This guy was destined to do this job.
He coached the Bulls?
Yeah. Right after Phil Jackson.
Personal with me.
Forget about who was it? Tim Floyd? Not Tim Floyd.
Tim Floyd.
It was the one Terry Francona.
And then you got Week 5 kicking off tonight. Niners and Rams. San Francisco all banged up. Brock Purdy, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall all ruled out for the 49ers.
Yikes.
That game sounds fun.
Can't wait.
Sounds like Yankee baseball is going to be on the big screen tonight.
Oh, wait a second. The Yankees give up 4 in the first. That game will be front and center.
You are not wrong.
You'll be watching a replay of Knicks Sixers again tonight if it's a bad Cam Schlittler start.
Please, dude. Come on. Don't put that in the ether.
The Yankees equally suck as much as the Mets, and I can't say a word. Remember that?
Bowie's saying all the words, despite the Mets sucking.
Yeah, well, I don't care now. And I've been told that it's petty, whatever. Shut up.
888-710.
Small man.
I got tweets written waiting to go out for the Yankees.
You got
stuff
drafted?
It's ready to go.
Oh, you're such a
I got
loser,
texts.
man.
I got tweets. Let's roll.
I'm the petty king.
Why don't you just go ahead and do it right off the cuff? Immediately, emotionally.
You know what'd be cooler?
Reactionally.
If the Mets were in the playoffs.
Well, whose fault is that?
The Mets.
The Mets. Dun, dun. Meet the Mets.
Yeah, I'm a Tommy guy. Give you a bunch of names.
And beat the Mets.
888-710-4ISN. Big college football game this weekend, but it's Bama facing Deja Vu. We'll talk about it in a second.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Big game for the Crimson Tide this weekend. CJ Stewart on the Fandom. Oh my gosh. On Infinity Sports Network, Maggie and Perloff filling in with one Andrew Bogie.
You guys did the same dance, you and EJ and Manny, with that song like it's a thing.
Yeah, you're not familiar with this tune?
I don't know the song, but is there a choreographed dance just for it?
Not really.
No, not particularly, but you just hear this beat and you just got to have those shoulders
But
work.
you both did the same kind of like hands out.
Can
like,
you go ahead and demonstrate what we did?
It's the go-to move. It's the
Is
move.
it?
I mean, it's the thing that would make sense. It's not a choreographed thing. It's just
okay.
It's just the shoulders working. This is the New York City and us just coming out.
I couldn't be less cool.
Yeah, no,
we already knew
you
this.
are not
This
cool.
is Maggie and Perloff show on Infinity
by the way,
Sports
Perloff
Network,
also uncool.
by the way. On Infinity Sports Network. Before we get to the Crimson Tide, let's get to Mikey, who's in Milwaukee. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. What's up, Mikey?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. So I was listening to that clip. I will admit that soundbite or statement from Giannis was, I hadn't heard that before, where he didn't recall the meeting with the owner or talking to the owner. I think, from a local perspective, I feel like this is an annual, or a lot of us maybe in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin, state of Wisconsin, it's like an annual media blitz. You get through the season, you get through the playoffs, the finals, and then it's like, oh, Giannis might want out. Right. He wants to go somewhere to compete. He wants to do this. It's been like that, I don't know, 4-5 years, ever since they won the championship. Yeah. So I'm not saying there's not validity to it. Obviously, there's things that happen behind the scenes. But I think at the end of the day, as a fan and from a greater fan base, I mean, Giannis is arguably the most beloved athlete to ever play in the state of Wisconsin. Maybe Rodgers at one point, Brett Favre back in the day. But I think whatever he decides, the fan base is going to stand behind. And mind you, he did bring a championship along with some others to the city. And I think a lot of, the Milwaukee fan base, whether it's the Bucks, whether it's the Brewers, you even got a small market team in Green Bay. There's that, that small market, gritty, we feel like we're poo-pooed on a little bit. We get a superstar who wants to come in from LA or New York or wherever and poach them or take them or trade for them. So I think the media narrative has really put a sour taste in locals.
Yeah,
the local mindset.
Mikey,
and,
I get
and
that,
it's
Mikey.
Kind of not as much on Giannis in our perspective.
No, I understand that, Mikey, and I really do appreciate the local perspective because that's what we need, right? And that's what I want to hear. And thanks for the call. The one thing I will say, though, is I feel like Giannis is the one who's creating this. It's not the media. Like, this is not a media creation. Like, you can't go on iShow Speed's, live stream in Greece and talk about taxes in New York and people wanting me to be traded and I'm still deciding and then doing this thing with the owner and then blame the media. You cannot play that game with this guy right now.
The media covering what an athlete or a coach or an owner does is not the media doing anything.
Yeah.
If we're just reporting the facts of a thing, Like, us playing that is not the media.
No.
Giannis said that.
Yeah.
We didn't make it up. We didn't change the context. That's what happened. That's him, not anybody else.
Yep. It was different when it was source reporting and this person close to Giannis said this. These recently have been Giannis quotes. Quotes in the New York Times, quotes in books.
Live from the Aegean Sea with Reed.
Yeah. Why he's got COVID, he's telling us weird stuff. Like, live streams with streamers. Like, this is not us. I'm sorry. I don't want to make this the media's fault for the Giannis talk. That'll do it for now. No time for the Crimson Tide, but big game on Saturday. I'm looking forward to that one. Folks, it's been fun.
Again, let's kick him out a day next week, too.
Same bad time, same that place. Maggie and Perloff in tomorrow. Thank you, Chris Persian. Manny, Cap, Bogues. It's been fun. CJ. Peace.
You're in a 5-minute break.